Start streaming?
That'd be better.
All right, let's see if it shows up in the dashboard this time.
Let's have a little look then. Let's have a little look. See.
Oh! I see stuff. I think it's working.
This is good.
I think it's working. Hold on. It says we're live. I see us. All right, so I need to go over to Twitch really quick and delete this so it doesn't confuse a bunch of people.
Look at that.
Yeah. So hey guys, sorry we're late. I actually just streamed us to Twitch instead of YouTube. So
we're not late if we never have a right time.
That's right. We haven't done this for a little while.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, let me delete this.
We don't have a time.
We don't.
Hello,
Rich. The time for Tech Talk is now. Whenever now is. Right. It doesn't matter.
Right. When will then be now?
Yeah,
that's
Is it now? Oh, God. No, it was now then. What was that from Spaceballs? Wasn't that Spaceballs?
Yeah.
I love that. Is it now? No, it was now then.
Oh, that was that. Yeah,
that was then. This is now.
Be now. Soon.
All right, I'm tweeting it out.
All right,
let's see here.
Pop out the chat. So I'm not looking at myself all the time.
Where'd David go?
Oh yeah, he locked up. He's done.
David, you better come back.
He's out.
Come on, dude. We have you for at least another 15 minutes. Like I'm not paying that contract unless you come back.
Oh, he's out. He says I got something else going on.
He'll figure it out. I'm sure he just hit the wrong button.
Yeah.
All right, here.
Okay. Man, I feel like I need some help with this Teespring thing. This is a lot of work.
Oh, to do the shirts and stuff?
It's so tedious. There's like all the stuff, all these things. And I got it up at least with the one thing, the one shirt. Or it's like the one design. And then I tried to do a bunch of different stuff. So I'll need help from the audience at a minimum, just to look at it and see.
What are we talking about? I missed it all because I lent on my mom.
Oops. I was just saying the Teespring thing is very tedious. There's a lot of like, and I highly do not order anything. I'm going to post this link, but do not order anything because the image that I've used right now is kind of jank. It's got like a really faint green outline around everything. I need to do better. I
used
cutting out the green.
Spreadshirt for a bit because they had European places as well. But even then, I find I haven't yet. The best merch I've ever found so far is through Streamlabs on Twitch.
Oh,
that was the best merch I found. I think it was through Streamlabs. Like the quality of the stuff was just really good. I mean, Spreadshirt was okay. They got really good customer support, but I just found that like after a few wears, the Tech Bandits logo is already fraying a bit, and
I feel like Streamlabs would just subcontract to somebody else. I wonder who they're subcontracting to. Because I doubt that they're running their own thing.
Spreadshirt had really nice hats because they actually they did the whatever it's called, the embroidery. I like them, but I got to do some merch. I'm so lame on that stuff.
Yeah, no, merch is a good thing. I had a merch store for a long time. My merch store unfortunately went under because of COVID, but
how did that work? What do you mean? Why?
So I actually had friends that ran a business that printed all my merch. They lived like 40 minutes from me, and everything that was bought was printed in their literally their house.
Wow!
And
they fulfilled it for you.
Yeah, and they had like a garment printer and all that stuff. But the problem is, after COVID, they couldn't get any more supply out of China. They couldn't get shirts. They couldn't get the Toltecs and Hanes shirts or whatever that we were printing on. Were like back ordered for like all the common colors and all the sizes. So it was literally taking like 3-4 months to get people their stuff. And
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, so it just shut them down because they could not get the inventory to keep going. So
I lost my hearing aid, and they're saying it could take months.
Serious?
Get another one. Yeah. Luckily, I lost the one for my better ear, so that's okay. The left ear is so screwed that I've still got that one in. But yeah, it's gonna take a while because of the chips and stuff. But you want to hear weird? This is how you know you're paying way too much. I spent almost $7,000 Canadian on hearing aids.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you get they obviously knock it up. They added $1,000 right away because the government gives you $1,000 towards hearing aids, which would buy you basically speakers you can hang from around your ears.
So your free healthcare doesn't cover that? You don't just get like free hearing aids for life or whatever up there?
No, you can get they can get up to $1,000. They can get you hearing aids, but the problem is my type of hearing is it's like an interaction of sounds that screw things up for me.
Yeah.
So as well as a loss of hearing. Anyways, so I paid almost $7,000 for that.
My God.
I lost one of them.
Oh, no.
I don't know where it is. Like probably with one of the masks coming on and off or something. I lost one of the hearing aids, and I probably didn't notice because it's not my particularly bad ear. They go, oh yeah, we'll send you another one. I was like, oh fuck, how much is it going to be? And they're like, no, we'll send you another one. It's fine.
Yeah, because for them, because they make them for like 57 cents.
Yeah,
so they're like,
I mean, I was expecting like
fine.
at least $1,000 or something, but they're like, no, that's fine. Yeah, you're still under warranty. It's fine. I'm like, I'm under warranty for being a fucking idiot.
Well, it's like Rode.
That's awesome.
So this is YouTuber problems, right? So Rode, I have their wireless Go mic, and I'm like, I can't get this thing to stop clipping with my Sony camera that I have. Even on 1 dB, it's still clipping. And they're like, oh, our first attempt or whatever didn't have adjustable dB, so it doesn't work well with some cameras. And they're like, oh, hey, what's your address? We'll just send you our new one that does all that and has like the extra parts in it. And I'm like, like, that's cool. And then they're like, what did they ask me? They said, oh, is there anything else we can help you with? And I was like, all right, well, hey, I guess I can try for the moon.
Well,
I'm like, hey, would you guys mind sending me one of those like $700 Rodecaster Pro like mixer board things? And they're like, oh yeah, sure, we'll go ahead. You want us to just send the same address? Sure.
Nice.
No contract. I didn't have to agree to review nothing. One of those
for like a year or more.
Next time I'll give you my address.
Yeah, it's like right here. Look at
here's my Rode complaint.
It's like
my Rode mic, my lovely Rode mic that I had.
Yeah. Look at that. That's a Rodecaster Pro. I've been trying to get one of these for years.
That's beautiful. Well, that makes sense though. Those are the perks of being a.
Well, now you got to do a review video.
Well, I am. I'm gonna do that because I don't want to. Come on, you got it when they do something like that.
They sent me this for free. They sent me this mic for free.
Nice.
Which one is that, by the way? Like, what model is it?
It's the NT USB.
Okay.
And I love the sound. It's fantastic, except that the mounting plate broke. So that snapped. So I wired it up, just so that it worked for the time being while I 3D printed another one. Now, the USB port at the bottom is so loose that it was connecting and disconnecting, and I was having all these sound problems. I couldn't figure out what it was. I changed cables, everything. No, it was the port in the bottom of this thing.
Is it the fat D shape?
Yeah, the big fat.
Yeah,
and it just doesn't make a proper connection. So I
have a Yeti, and that happened the same. And I'm not unplugging the thing or moving it hardly at all. And the Yeti I move mine all the time. I have did the same.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling Barnacules before we started, that I've actually committed a computer now entirely to streaming. So this mic will stay where it is, my little LED mic, my ridiculous unicorn vomit mic, and it's not going to be used for anything else.
RGB. I thought the HyperX one was just red. That's cool.
There is a just red one that if you get the S, it has like.
It actually sounds really good though. It's got a really natural flat sound, so you could use that for recording.
Yeah, Baz did the homework for me. I said, dude, I'm so sick of looking into this, and I was just getting paralyzed by choices, and he just went, get this one, and I was like,
HyperX is weird though, because they make some stuff that's like shit. Like their headphones, like their low end headphones with like the 40 millimeter drivers sound like garbage.
They've got some terrible. I've actually owned a pair of their headphones and was like, really?
Yeah, like they gave me a pair at like PDX Land. I put it on. I was like, man, these you guys really didn't do. Actually, shit. Look at this. Look at this right here.
And some really bad, connections on the volume thing as well, if I remember correctly.
So, still in the packaging, because the last one I opened up, I was like, I didn't like these, so I didn't even try the Cloud Alphas, whatever these are.
But they've definitely done. This is a really, I gotta say, this has. I was saying it's got a gain on it, so you can adjust the gain as you go.
I think it even has a limiter on it too, because I haven't heard you crack once.
Oh, really?
So yeah, no distortion at all. Like if you're loud in the mic, like get up on it and be like, bah, bah. Nothing.
Really?
So it has a built-in compressor and limiter.
Well, it's got to get through all those LEDs.
Yeah. So no, it sounds great. Like here, back up off it a little bit and just talk at a regular volume.
All right, I'm talking at a regular volume. Here I go. Still talking.
Yeah, and you only dropped by about 6 dB. So yeah, no, you've got compression and you've got limiter built into that. So that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, no, I'm loving it, and it's like Blade Runner. So I'm all over that. Yeah.
I feel like the USB mics though are a little bit gimmicky, and what I mean by that is like they ask stupid money for them when you can actually get the better version of the microphone, an XLR, and then buy like a $20 interface, and you'll have a better setup.
The interface.
You can get a little XLR to USB jobby that's like cheap.
Yeah, it's like in line with the cable.
Though I've only ever had buzz or stuff. It was like I want to reduce the number of things. Yeah. Like same thing with the cameras.
That's fair.
I've given up for the most part on HDMI, although I do have the ATM Mini plugged into this system, which is really nice because I can go to different cameras, which is kind of fun. Not now, but yeah, it's just honestly, I think it's the difference between being like doing this for fun once in a while and just having a system dedicated to it makes all the difference. Otherwise, you just spend all your time setting up.
Yeah, I'm liking the light show that you got going on here. Do you have like some NeoPixels or something? Like,
yeah, we got a bunch of so Baz.
Oh, dang, yeah, you got some.
Yeah, because
So
you're like
Baz-
you got it going on, man. You're making us look like amateur hour here.
Well, Baz had, when Baz gave me his old computer, very nice of him, 5 years after I built it, because he's got a 3080 now. It had LEDs in it, but the LEDs were messy and I couldn't stand it. So I redid the LEDs and then I tied them into the wall system. So the wall is in sync with that. And then because it was cheaper to buy a controller for it that came with the LEDs, I got some extra LEDs. So I went a little crazy.
That's cool.
What are you using the controller? Are you just like running like an Arduino or something, or are you running a dedicated controller?
No, it's just a little dedicated controller. It's not even worth the price of the art. I mean, I honestly, it would be more expensive to do it like that. I should, if I was a real nerd, I would do that. But
you should watch. There's a guy I've been watching. That I actually worked with at Microsoft back in 2000 for about 3 months. We worked in the same building.
Did you inspire him into podcasting?
No, it's funny. We never even knew of each other's existence for like 16, 17 years. Like after he left Microsoft, but we finally started talking. He runs this channel called Dave's Garage over on YouTube, and he does programming tutorials. Yeah, fantastic channel, dude's awesome. Fantastic. Yeah, he has a ton of videos on programming.
I'm not sure if I'm subscribed, but I'm.
You should be. I mean, it's good shit. So he does a lot of stuff with like custom LED controllers, and he even wrote his own LED controller for like I think Raspberry Pi and Arduino. And it's all up on GitHub, and he was going to sell it. Like the idea was he was trying to make a marketable product, and he's been working on it. But his YouTube channel took off so much, he just said, "Oh fuck it," and just gave it to everybody for free.
Yeah, why not?
That's so you can go to GitHub and like download this like library for like controlling addressable LEDs, and it supports like everything. Like you can any input you can imagine, any output.
64,000 followers.
No, he's killing it, man. His viewership's like really high too. Like for the type of content he creates, like he's nailing it. But he's like
using C++. Yeah. Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah, he does most of his stuff in C++, but he also does like Python scripting. I think I saw something he was playing with Ruby on Rails. He was doing some Bash scripting in Linux. He's kind of like all over the place. He's old school though. He's like one of the guys.
Machine learning stuff now. This guy Lawrence Moroney, who works for Google, did the AI side of that Stargate script thing where they fed in all these Stargate scripts.
How did that go?
Yeah, it was neat. It's really neat. I mean, it's not there yet. Obviously, it's like having a an overly zealous 4-year-old Stargate fan write a script for you. It doesn't make this. It's completely non sequiturs and stuff. But there are definitely some connections. We start going like, I see how this could work eventually. But it was really neat. Yeah. So he's got a course. He's got a really nice. Actually, you should see it if anyone's interested in this. He's got a Coursera course. It's Lawrence Moroney. Let me see if I can find a link for you.
I mean, my passion has always been automation. Like automating anything. Doesn't even matter what it is. The passion isn't what I am automating, it's the automation itself.
Yeah, I love that side of stuff.
And like, so did you ever see the Corridor Crew video where they actually like had an AI write a script for like Avatar and then they did all the animations to it?
No. I missed that.
It's pretty good. I'll send you a link after the show. But yeah, Corridor Crew did like this Avatar thing.
I think they used Dungeon AI for that, didn't they?
No, this was before Dungeon AI. This was before they started doing that stuff.
I know they did a cute little video based off of like a story that Dungeon AI wrote for them.
Yeah, this was they took the first line of the Avatar script and they punched it into a web page and it just started like writing in real time. You could watch it writing the script and they just let it go.
Oh, nice.
And then they just took like 10 minutes of this script and they read it and then animated it with like, Unreal Engine mocap and stuff like that.
That is cool.
To the Avatar characters. And it's actually really funny. Like I laughed through the whole thing because it's like
they are so good. Those guys.
It kind of makes sense, but the script doesn't make sense. Like it just makes like these random jumps that you could never figure out on your own.
Well, but it's kind of neat the thing that I noticed in these ones was that the dialogue was almost nonsensical in many cases. But what was scary bang on with the stage directions, because they definitely had someone would arrive, a Stargate would connect, someone would arrive, someone would step out, and every scene would end with some kind of a cliffhanger, like completely ridiculous in some cases, like "Mom."
Wait, so it didn't just write the script; it actually gave like direction.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Okay, that's cool.
It's full on. This is full on. This guy is like he's Google AI. I mean, they sort of know their shit. But in fact, I think Microsoft uses some of their AI stuff, don't they? Isn't that some of their machine learning stuff is done?
Ixnay on the Google gay with Microsoft. They don't like that. No, actually, Microsoft likes to think that they use all their own stuff, but no, Microsoft has a lot of projects that are integrated with Google. They have a lot of projects that are integrated with Apple. They have a lot of projects that are integrated with Amazon. They're like their own worst enemy because they like every company they compete with, they have some kind of share in their success.
Right.
Like Microsoft wins no matter what. Like Bill Gates, he set himself up really good. Like Apple, like at one point, I want to say Microsoft owned like I think it was 10% of Apple. And they
should have bailed them out way back when.
Yeah. I think they still
why?
do.
Because of antitrust. They were so terrified of being the only people providing computer operating systems that they thought, oh my God, if we just keep Apple going, and then oh my God, they must be worth a fortune just because of the Apple stock.
Yeah. Because remember how the Office suite used to be available on iOS, or not on iOS, but Mac OS.
Mac. Yeah.
That was
a few ones that were available.
That was a stipulation of Microsoft as a part of that agreement, is that Microsoft would be able to develop first-party software like for their platform that they would promote themselves in their own marketing. So it's funny seeing like the old Apple commercials, like, oh, now with Office, now comes with the entire Office suite, Excel and Access and blah blah blah, and you're like, wow, man, this is like Steve Jobs.
Hear them gritting their teeth as they say it.
Exactly. Or like the old commercials. Remember, like Mac versus PC. I love that commercial campaign.
Oh yeah,
those were fun.
That was the greatest thing ever. Did you ever see the parodies of that on
there were a ton of them.
Oh my God, the best ones ever. I wish I could remember the name of the YouTube channel. Maybe somebody in chat remembers who they were, but they basically had Linux, and Linux was the black guy. And so did you ever see that where they had PC, and then they had Mac, and then they had like this black guy who was Linux, and it was so funny because every time the Mac and the PC guy would like get into it, he'd just be sitting over there all like nonchalant, like, oh man, I could do that. Oh, and I can do that faster.
Yeah.
I can do that. It's so funny. Oh my God. He's like, what are you guys bickering about, man? Like, oh man, I've been able to do that forever. Wow. Oh, that's really cute that you guys can do that.
Oh, that's so cute. You guys have incorporated that. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. No, I love that commercial campaign. Oh my God. Shoe Nice is alive. We got Shoe Nice over in the chat over here. Look at this, man. I thought you were gone, bro.
He likes my
Do beard. I know Shoe Nice?
No, he's a goat. Not the greatest of all. Well, he is the greatest of all time, but he also he's the guy. He's a goat. He eats shoes and like toilet paper and drinks like fifths of vodka and stuff.
Oh, he's the guy. Oh, yeah. So we've had him pop by before.
Yeah, he pops up in chat. I just hadn't seen him in a while.
He's calling from the gastrointestinal ward at the hospital right now.
No, he's a trip. He's like, I'm sure that like maybe he was away because they were studying him to see like how they could cure COVID using his stomach. Like.
He's like literally a goat. He can eat anything.
He is. Yeah. He is. He's literally a human goat, man. It's awesome. Hey, guys, just to let you know, this is the first Tech Talk, I think, in 3 weeks? We've been offline for a while. Man. There's a couple reasons.
I felt like
for that.
such a loser last week. I got to know. I just want you to know.
No, that was my bad. I was all over the place.
What is anyone around? I was wondering if we were doing a Tech Talk this week.
Actually, David, you should tell him like how out of it I was on all the medications they had me on. I'm like messaging David like on a Thursday, and I'm like, "You ready for Tech Talk, bro?"
I was so worried about it.
I was like Sunday.
Oh my God.
I was so lost, dude.
He was totally, and I was like, "Well, I guess if he wants to do it on Thursday, I'll do it." But
I have never been more drugged up in my entire life. I looked at my wife and I was like, "Oh man, I gotta do Tech Talk tomorrow," and she's like, "It's Thursday," and I was like, "No, it isn't. It's Saturday tomorrow." And she's like,
Dave about it.
And she's like, "No, remember like yesterday you did this," and I'm like, "I didn't remember." I lost like 2 days over the course of 2 weeks where I couldn't remember anything that happened on those days. And it's because they just had me on so much Benadryl. Holy crap. I had to take 50 milligrams of Benadryl every 4 hours, 24 hours a day.
I hate that stuff. I hate any of that kind of stuff. I hate God,
dude, I was a zombie, man. I've never in my life, like of all the drugs that I've taken, nothing has messed me up as much as Benadryl did. Like at that concentration. Oh God, I was like wondering where I was at. I was like losing my speech patterns. That's why I didn't stream for like a whole week.
That stuff.
Oh yeah,
serious tripping.
Yeah,
don't like don't the teenagers go and get that stuff? And
yeah, put it this way. I was taking I think it was 250 or 300 milligrams a day, and it's actually toxic and deadly at 500.
Damn.
So I was over halfway to like a deadly dose. And the doctor's like, yeah, this isn't sustainable. You can't do this for more than a week. But the problem was I was having a severe allergic reaction that was like body wide. And it put me in the emergency room, and it took prednisone and like toxic levels of Benadryl together to get it under control to where I could actually sleep.
Clayman, Benadryl, the chemical name is generally diphenhydramine.
Yep.
But it's an antihistamine. It helps. It blocks out your.
Oh, it's a lifesaver if you're having. It's I mean.
So if you guys are wondering what happened to me,
it's not EpiPen status, but it'll help with mild allergic reaction and severe to an extent as well. But it's
it's actually saved me, dude. It's saved me before from anaphylaxis when I accidentally took aspirin once. I just took a handful of it, probably like 8 or 12 capsules or, little pink pills or whatever, stuck them because they told me to do that. Like the paramedics said, yeah, if you know that you've come in contact with an allergen that causes anaphylaxis, just mainline it. Like you're going to be fine. Just like we'll deal with it later.
Run off.
And
it's also
save my life.
Ingredient. It's also the main ingredient in a lot of your sleep aids.
Yep.
If it's not melatonin, it's probably diphenhydramine.
Yeah, sometimes it's both too. Like some of the sleep aids will have like a combination of both. It's absolutely crazy. So I was like in a daze, guys. I took 10 days of one of the strongest antibiotics they had, which then caused an allergic because I had a bad ear infection. I couldn't hear out of my left ear, and it felt like somebody was stabbing me in the side of the head with an ice pick. So they give me the antibiotics. I had to go to urgent care, which I hate going to the hospital. Like I'm in bad shape if I go to the hospital. So I go to the hospital.
Most people love going to the hospital.
Yeah, they just love it, man. Going there. Oh my God.
At least once a week. Easy.
Yeah, my dad used to take us for brunch at the hospital.
Please tell me you're joking.
The cafeteria had great.
We went to the cafeteria as a treat because my dad worked at the hospital.
There is no such thing as good hospital food, is there? Is that a Canadian thing? Because they don't have that down here, dude.
No, it's terrible. I remember my favorite thing was you could get a vanilla milkshake in a little carton.
Oh my god!
It was just a fucking milk. It was like a milk with like.
Dude, I hate hospitals because every time I go there, it seems like a family member dies. Like every time I go to a hospital, like that's why I don't like going there. It's like my mom died there, my grandpa died there, my friend died there. Like every time I go to the hospital, somebody dies. So I go to urgent care. They give me this antibiotic that's like the strongest antibiotic. It's amoxicillin mixed with like some other compound that like multiplies its effectiveness. And so I take that for 10 days. The 9th day, I have a massive allergic reaction to it. I wake up like at 4 a.m. and I go into the bathroom and look in the mirror. My entire body, head to toe, is covered in these raised red welts. I literally looked like a map, like a topographical map, and I was itching so bad. It felt like fire ants were burning me. Imagine like your whole body being like stung by bees. Like it was so bad. So I started taking Benadryl because I knew it was some kind of allergic reaction. The Benadryl wasn't even hardly touching it. Like it took like an hour, and then I felt a little bit better. And I basically was just like a zombie for like 3 days because I did not want to go in. Like my wife's like, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. I'm like, no. So I'm a male. I don't need to go to the hospital. No, I'm actually, I'm a total wuss when it comes to that shit.
Dude,
like,
man.
So I was, by day 3, it wasn't clearing up and it was actually getting worse in some ways. Like I was actually getting like rashes in places where you shouldn't have rashes. Like, I'll leave it at that. And so,
please do.
Yeah. So I went to urgent care again, and urgent care was like, nope, you're having a bad allergic reaction. Go to the emergency room. I'm like, okay. So I go down to the emergency room, and they look at me and they're like, damn. They're like, I pull up my shirt. And they're like, what? They're like, oh my God. They're like, can you breathe? And I'm like, yeah, I can breathe fine or whatever. And they're like, oh, thank goodness. Because apparently like when that happens, it's usually followed with breathing problems. And so they're like, oh my God. So they took me in and they looked me over and they immediately gave me prednisone. And they're like, yeah, we're going to have you take like these, this 40 milligrams of prednisone or whatever, like every day for the next 5 days. And we're going to need you to like take 2 Benadryls like every 4 hours. And if this doesn't subside and it gets any worse, you have to come in and then we're going to have to give you like IV, was it epinephrine or whatever, like basically adrenaline. And I was like, son of a bitch. So then I came home, I started taking all the stuff and it did help with the pain. Like that was the biggest thing. I just needed sleep. I was a zombie at that point because I hadn't slept in like a week between the ear infection and this like massive outbreak. But I finally got some sleep and I started taking the Benadryl, and the Benadryl actually helped with the pain. Like it was manageable. Like I was like, okay, now I can just ride this out, but it wasn't getting any better. It was like 5 days and I was still completely covered head to toe in these welts. And then it was the last day that I took the prednisone, day 5. I don't know how they dose it so perfectly, but on day 5, I took the final dose and then everything just like faded away over a couple of hours and it hasn't come back. So I'm just like, whoo, man, there's just like the levels of that, whatever was causing the allergic reaction just built up in my system over 9 days. And then it took like 5 days.
So you still don't know exactly what it was?
We don't know. They said that they think it's an amoxicillin allergy. So now I can't have amoxicillin again, which sucks because that's like, that's like one of the best antibiotics there is.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, that sucks. But the good news is
you get a test on it though. Can't they just give you a little test to make sure that is in fact?
Yeah, I do have. Well, no. They can't with this because it has to build up in your system for a prolonged period of time.
Right.
So it's not a contact allergy. Like I could rub it all over my skin. It wouldn't do anything. I have to take it for like 8 to 9 days for it to build up into my system until the reaction triggers.
Right.
And the
right,
weird thing
okay.
is usually they said people that have because it's a fairly common allergy to be allergic to antibiotics to some degree.
Yeah. A lot of people
But
do.
they said usually it presents itself in 3 days. They said it's really rare for it to present itself, at the end of the run or sometimes even after the run. They said that they've had cases where 3 days after you've stopped the antibiotic, it's still accumulated enough in the system to cause an allergic reaction. So they said it's uncommon, but it's not unheard of. And they looked at the wells. They're like, dude, there is not like, unless you've been eating something that you don't know about, or you've been like rubbing something all over your body that you never have. And we went through the whole list. We couldn't figure out anything that changed in my
all
diet.
the things I've rubbed on my body in the last.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, last night I rubbed a loop on there
and peanut butter.
I had some fun with the jet in the hot tub, but I think it was clean. It's fine.
There was a lot of butter one night, but that that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that was a wild ride. I was like, I was really depressed too. That's why I wasn't streaming or doing anything, is because I was just so out of it. I didn't even think I could get like the streaming software to work. And I got to the point where I was just so depressed because I was like, man, is it going to be like this forever? Because it wasn't getting better. And I was like, oh, it was freaking me out. Even my wife was kind of getting freaked out. She's like, man, here we are. Like, we've taken all this prednisone, this Benadryl, and you're basically sleeping like 18 hours a day. And you're still covered in welts. And it's like, oh my God, is this going to be an allergy that's just is like for the rest of my life? Do I got shingles now or something? But it did finally clear up.
Apparently that's awful.
Yeah, it is. And I'm on like day 2. They said it wasn't shingles though. The shingles look completely different than what I had.
Did you get the vaccine against the shingles?
I think I did actually. I'm pretty sure I did.
They want to charge us for that too. And I balked at it. And Jane's like, no, you will go and pay for that.
Yeah, because shingles is just like, isn't it like chicken pox or something like that?
It's like, yeah, it's what
nerve
comes like
related.
Yeah,
it's like it's really horrible.
Yeah, no, I saw the pictures because I was trying to figure out what I had, so I went and did the whole WebMD thing.
But it's not even just it's not even the skin stuff. It's the fact that you get this weird kind of nerve damage thing happening that you're just like,
yikes.
Yeah, it's apparently my doc was like, you should absolutely do it. He says, I've had it and you did not. It's the most horrible thing. So
no, this was very painful. What I had was painful, but here's the weird thing about it. This is actually kind of creepy. Is my whole body looked like I was a burn victim. Like literally it looked like have you ever had a blister, like a big like festering blister? That was what was forming all over my body, except for they didn't have fluid in them. They were just puffed up. It was just like these big red, like raised up like by like that much.
Like hives, like those
big,
hives.
huge hives. But here's the weird thing about it. When you take the Benadryl and the prednisone, within 45 minutes, it completely disappears and doesn't leave a trace, and then slowly comes back over 3-4 hours.
Well, it's your body fighting it, right? So your body's fighting off what it thinks is some kind of an infection. So it's
but it's weird. How does your body change that fast? I'm talking like within 15 minutes, you can go from your whole body looking like a topographical map to your skin just being fine.
I can't get over it. When I did a biology course, and I was like, how the fuck does our body react fast enough to do any of this shit?
Yeah, that's what blew my mind the most.
It's all fast, man. It's fast. Everything.
It's electrical fast.
Your body's not as it's a machine in that way. Like you can have an instant reaction to, especially when it's like a allergic thing or autoimmune or not autoimmune, but like an immune response.
Yeah.
Instant.
But that's I mean, people talk about what's the one of the most deadliest things on the planet. It's actually your own body.
Yeah.
Like the
you're a
trippy
fucking
thing, like
poison, Barnacules.
Well, like your
well, that's how COVID kills you, right?
Juice,
I mean, it's an allergic reaction to the histamine
the
or
juice
whatever.
in your eye, like your eyeballs have their own immune system, and so if like you're inside the juice in your eye leaks, your body will attack both your eyeballs because it thinks it's a foreign substance. Yeah, it thinks your eyeballs have their own immune system inside.
Darling, maybe your body's
so like there's weird shit where like if you're like optical cord doesn't attach right or it gets weird damage and stuff, or something funky happens with one eye, it'll attack both of them because it doesn't get it. It's like, oh shit, your eyeballs are foreign substance, and
dude, that is
weird to think. Like we think of ourselves as like a cohesive whole, but the reality is we're just lots of little warring factions, like kept in balance, really,
all the time. You know, like your gut bacteria will try and attack like your lungs and stuff, and it's you're all weird bits and pieces.
You know, this is a slight non sequitur, but it sort of relates. Remember I was telling you about this Midnight Mass show that I was watching?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's this Netflix show that I started watching, and I hated it. I hated it. But my friend said, you got to go back. You got to watch it. And I went back and I was glued to it, and I like binge watched it and not slept and watched the entire thing. But one of the neat things about it is, again, it treats vampirism as a kind of a blood disorder.
Oh, I always liked that. I always liked that concept, that it was like a disease.
Yeah. So they've done that, which has been done before. But the one that I really like about it is they also equate the church with vampirism. So all of a sudden, this vampiric plague is seen as a religious, like a surge in Christianity, basically. It's really neat. It's again, like I say, the first few episodes I really struggled. They had like an episode where there were a bunch of like dead animals and stuff, and they look like freaking plushy toys. I was like, oh, come on.
Weird.
If you're gonna make me try to feel sorry for a dead rodent or a cat, at least make it look like a fucking cat. So yeah, but and there's some pretty arch performances in there, but because a lot of people playing old when they're not and stuff. But I gotta say, that show, I was sucked in. Once I was sucked in, it was like Jane's like, go to bed. I'm like, no, I can't.
I didn't realize it was a vampire thing. That's cool.
I didn't either.
Oh shit, did I ruin something?
No, that's good.
Just
like that makes me want to watch it now.
Yeah, reading the preview, I would not have guessed. So
you know what I just started watching last night?
Is almost interesting.
Have you guys watched Squid Game yet?
Oh my god, is it the best?
A few episodes. I'm digging it. I haven't finished, but I dig it. I dig it. I think it's freaking neat.
Love it.
I'm going to be honest, though. The first like 20 minutes of the first episode, I was like, this is the worst dubbed thing I've ever seen and the most overacting I've ever seen.
Oh, man. Yeah.
No, I got to watch it dubbed. I can't read and watch a show at the same time. I'm sorry.
Sub over dub, baby.
I can't do the pat your head and rub your belly.
Read faster.
Then you could say you read Squid Game as well.
No way, dude. That ruined Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon having to read the whole movie and to watch it like 5 times over.
I'm going to give you a link for this 3D guy, this amazing guy who I found, because he posted he did these little tiny Squid Game figures for the 3D printer. They're so, and then I saw the rest of his stuff, and it's like, he's a freaking genius. I'm gonna get it for you.
If you haven't seen Squid Game, though, it is a wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
Check it out. It is a wild ride.
I'm only a couple episodes in, and I'm digging it. It's a cool concept. It makes me want to go back and watch Train to Busan and
which was
other Korean flicks like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched plenty of those sorts of foreign films and stuff like what's that one? It's a crazy kung fu one where they it's like the cops invade like an apartment building.
The raid, the recruit.
The raid. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
A killer martial arts movie that is.
Absolutely insane.
How
okay,
cool.
I'm putting a link in the YouTube chat. This guy, it's his Patreon. I have no affiliation with this guy other than I just freaking love his stuff, and I actually became a Patreon. It's Wexter. And this guy does the best stuff. And I'll try to find a picture of that. Well, you just go to that. If you go to the Patreon, he's got a whole bunch of stuff there. But he does like Halloween masks. He does, I guess, like masks for masks' sake. And also just the most beautiful. And he's doing all this in ZBrush, like it's all, or ZBrush.
Let your Canadian show.
The brush. Yes.
The brush of the Zed. Hey, I want to thank a couple of the super chatters here really quick. Now that I've got the activity feed. The activity feed works today. Oh my God, super chats are actually showing up on the screen.
It's been popping up on the thing too.
That's awesome. Eric G, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said, woo, got noticed and on time. See, that's rare occurrence here on YouTube these days. Johnny Winter, thank you for the $3.15 super chat. He said, sup, how y'all doing? I mean, I'm doing a lot better than I was. I can tell you that much.
Yeah,
good. I actually get to go in my hot tub again. That was like pure torture not being able to use my hot tub for so long.
Soup.
Devlin 42. Oh damn, Devlin 42 threw down $23.43. Getting paid. He said, welcome back, guys, and congratulations, AuxxZillary. Actually, we should take a second here to congratulate Mr. AuxxZillary here on getting fitted for his ball and chain for eternity. My man AuxxZillary is married. He is
best
married.
Decision I ever made.
There is no more bachelors on Tech Talk. We are all now hitched.
I was never a bachelor, man.
Well, not a bachelor, but you weren't married. Like, you're married now. Come on. Hey, do you have that topper handy?
Out of order.
It changes everything and it changes nothing.
Is it in there?
And it's
no, she wandered off with the topper.
Oh damn it!
Oh no!
You'll have to show it to him later. That thing was pretty cool. They had a cake topper that was like literally them. like they had themselves made for a cake topper.
I'm busting open my tux shirt and it's got a purple Twitch shirt underneath. It's really good,
dude. That's so awesome.
The beard. It was an impressive beard.
Placed
hand.
Yeah.
So I've had literally no contact with Mr. AuxxZillary here because he was off on his honeymoon and getting married and stuff. He was
maybe that's what caused the rash
for at least 10 days.
Maybe that was it.
That was it. I bet you that was the allergic reaction. I should have told the doctor that. I was like, dude, I haven't had my ox fixed, and I probably had anaphylaxis because of it.
Your ox levels were too low.
They were.
I feel myself getting itchy already.
So Ox wants to tell us, brother. Like, so you're a married man now. So you know that's pretty awesome. Why don't you tell us about how it went?
Dude, it went really, really well. Like I'm and on the one hand, I'm like a little surprised that like practically nothing went wrong. But on the other hand, my lady like planned everything, so of course it did.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was my experience as well. It's best just to nod and yes.
Dude, it went so smooth. I think the only bad thing that didn't go right was like the day before.
Yeah, you were stressed. I remember that was the last time I talked to you.
It's
the caterer for our rehearsal dinner like wrote the wrong date down or something, and it was super like hack ass. Like, okay, so not to be rude to a small business around here,
but you screwed up something big.
Well, they didn't like. There was no like official process, right? I guess talking to my lady about it after the fact, it was just like word of mouth, basically. Like, oh, hey, yo, can I schedule you guys for our rehearsal dinner? Oh, yeah, and it's all just like over the phone. There was no forms. There's no like email back and forth or nothing like that. And so like, it's coming up to the time, you know, we're setting things, you're getting kind of things set a little bit prior to the go time, you know, setting tables up and decorations and stuff the night before. And we're like, man, it's coming up to like food. Like we're supposed to sit down and then go through all the process and everything and whatnot. And they close up shop like at 6, but we're supposed to be scheduled to have the food like show up at 7 or 6:30, 7 o'clock. And so we can't get a hold of anybody. Like you call up their phone number and it just says, hey, you know, we're our normal business hours, blah, blah, blah. I almost found the owner of the company on Facebook, and I was about to message her directly, but my lady was already on top of it. And I'm like, I'm gonna blow you guys up. Like this messed up, you know? But I guess we got a refund and stuff, and like the owner lady was like, well, I can bring something out to you now, blah blah blah. And it's like, no, this like we had like a whole thing planned, like a whole like cool taco bar thing, and it just whatever.
Ooh, that's
this is for the rehearsal though, right? Or
yeah, for the rehearsal.
Okay, so you got it squared away for the
I think maybe
wedding.
A bad rehearsal in theater, they say a bad rehearsal makes for a good actual event. And I think we found the same thing.
Yeah, man. I can't think of anything that really went weird. The only thing that like I guess was wrong, the lights, like we got these like fairy lights to kind of hang back and forth over like the dining space.
I gotta see
they weren't very bright. And so like it was very,
if that's the only thing,
candlelit, very dark and candlelit dinner. But yeah, otherwise, man, everything went without a hitch. It was great. It was, I flubbed things a little bit, but like it worked well because that was part of the gag. So like I get up there with, you know, we go through the processional for the both sides, right? Everybody walking up there, and we deliberately planned with our officiant that he wasn't going to be standing up there like at the beginning. He was actually hidden in the crowd. And I get up there, I'm standing there, and I forgot about the gag. Like we were going to be like, "Where's the guy? Where is he?" You know, we're talking to my groomsmen, like, "Hey man, I thought you had the guy," you know. And I forgot in the moment. I forgot the joke, and the bridesmaids are like, "Houston, do the joke. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing?"
It's not a joke.
Oh yeah, where's the guy? It was like super perfect because like it wasn't fake.
right You found the reality of your performance.
Oh dude, it was great. And dude, I cried a lot. Like I barely got through my vows, and like I had a little thing for the girls that I didn't get through quite right, but it was beautiful. And oh, dude, it was so good.
Yeah, I blubbered my ass off too, getting through my vows. I don't think I even made it like a quarter of the way in. And I was like,
yeah. I think I cried. I don't think I.
Well, you're an actor though. You're a professional, man. You can
we were
just
also already married.
Like her dress was perfect. Like, and oh man, it was. And the week prior was like horrible weather, right? The Saturday prior, it was like that windstorm and stuff, and we're like, oh my god, I hope it doesn't like carry over. And nope, it was perfect. It was like 75 degrees, perfect, gorgeous, sunny, bright blue sky. And then the very next day, like rain, sprinkles, rain throughout the whole day.
I think the only contact that we had was like right before the wedding. Like I remember the day before, the night before, and you seemed like you were pretty nervous or whatever, but you're like, you were excited. And then I remember the day that you were supposed to fly to Jamaica, I get a message from you like, hey, how's everything going? You're like, oh my God, dude, like the flight or something is messed up, or we don't know if we're going to make it in time or something.
Yeah, because
something
we
was
didn't
going
get
on.
our COVID results, man.
That's what it was.
Oh no.
Yeah. You're supposed to have them, you're supposed to take the test within 3 days of your leaving.
Yeah.
But like, we're sweating bullets because it's like near 36 hours after we took the test and we still haven't gotten our results. And so we were like scrambling, trying to find like a quick antigen.
Yeah.
Some of them got like an hour turnaround. Right. And we're literally in line. Yeah. They had like 4 different kinds of tests you can take that were okay. And we're like in line in Federal Way, almost our turn for like the quick test that we found, and we're like maybe like at this point like 3 hours I think before our flight, so like we should be at the airport. And bling, like it's almost our turn to get the quick test, and then bling, we both get text messages saying our PCR one is like, oh yeah, your results are in, like check them out. Oh gosh, okay.
Yeah, because I never heard back from you for like a week. I was like, what happened? Like I was sweating bullets. I was like, oh my God, did he get on his flight? Like what's going on? What's that? Yeah, man. But I figured you did, because I figured you just like lost cell reception or something in like Jamaica or something.
So MindPods, they wouldn't. They specifically said they would not accept the over the counter like at home tests. Yeah,
I mean, I can understand why they wouldn't accept those.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, people would just be like dipping it in the toilet or whatever. It's like, I'm not sick.
Right?
I'm good.
This says that you're pregnant.
I've heard of guys like trying to fake piss tests and then getting caught because like they had their girlfriend or something do it, and it's like, bro, you're not a woman. Like, what are you doing?
That would be funny. Going to do a drug test, and they're like, oh yeah, your hormone levels are incredibly high.
Yeah.
You need to get to the hospital right now.
Right.
You're like, well, I'm a bodybuilder, I take additional hormones. But no, but it's the other hormone.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
And I know I said to a lot of folk, like on my own stream and stuff, that I might try and stream it, but dude, that day was packed.
Really?
Like, I literally had like maybe 30 minutes free time the whole day. Because as soon as we showed up on the scene, photographers dragging you back and forth and everywhere, and you got to be over there and like meeting in people, I maybe could have set something up a little bit beforehand, but man, there was just wild the whole day.
Good.
Packed.
That's good. It's as it should be.
Oh man, it was so much fun, and my guys knocked it out of the park. Like it was just a blast.
I'm glad to hear
from start
it,
to
man.
finish. Yeah, it was so much fun.
I was sweating bullets for you, man. Because like the only thing I got from you is like it's like one day you're like nervous, and the other day it's like, the flight isn't here, and I didn't hear anything about the wedding, so I like didn't know if there was like any stressors that happened there.
Oh my God,
I was on pins and needles.
Stressful.
So was Miss Barnacules. Miss Barnacules over here like
perfect.
Didn't get to see the live stream, and she's like, what the hell's going on? She's freaking out.
Dude,
it was great. She'll be happy to hear. She'll be happy to hear everything went like smoothly.
I'm really excited to see the pictures.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's the best part, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think we get like I think we get like 80 or 100 of them that are going to be like edited and look super fancy, and then but we get like the whole mass of them to ourselves, like however many thousand of pictures or whatever she took. But man, it's gonna be so cool.
No, I definitely want to see the pictures. Like when they're ready, I want to see some of them because I gotta see how this went down.
I'll definitely share. And I'm super bad. I know my ladies shared some pictures of our vacation and stuff on social as well. If you guys follow me on Instagram at all, you may have seen some of them. And I'm terrible. I took a million fucking pictures.
I never look at Instagram. I should.
Oh man.
I saw you all dressed up with your bro, so that I did see that picture. You guys were looking dapper.
That was with my dad and stuff.
Yep.
Man. Oh, I'm so glad that he like was there. I was
there a chance he wasn't going to?
Well, I mean, he's 71 this year. Has had 2 mild heart attacks.
Oh geez.
Not so bad whereas they got to cut him open, I don't think, but
med stuff can be treated as meds.
Honestly, for the males in my family, like he pushed out his first my grandpa died with his 4th heart attack at like 60 or something.
Wow.
And so my dad's first heart attack wasn't until he was in his 50s, which is like a fucking record for the men in my in the
No, I'm the same
family
way.
tree.
Both sides of my family, nobody's never made it to 70. Like nobody
Really?
on either side of my
It's
family
like
have made it to 70.
It's like
I'm
a
getting up
time
there,
bomb.
man.
Yeah, it's like a time bomb in my chest. I'm like, I'm 35. I haven't had a heart attack. Great. I'm past. I'm probably safe. You know.
So that's it. That's kiss of death right there. Just get it,
Man.
That's
Yeah,
it.
don't jinx it, dude. Just live every day like you're gonna have a heart attack and you'll never have one. The second you let your guard down.
But yeah, I'm just, and you know, the poor guy's like brain is kind of melting away and whatnot. He's getting old, and it sucks because like he knows that he's not as sharp as he used to be, and
I know that at 50 for myself.
and yeah, man, and it bums him out and it bums me out that he knows it, and there's like nothing he can do about it. And he even messaged me. He goes, "Man, I'm really nervous. You know, I have well," and he's super hermit guy, right? Like he lives alone out in Ocean Shores and stuff, and just basically argues with people on the internet all the time. And so he's like, "Man, I'm real bugging out because like I haven't really talked to another real human being in like 2 years." You know,
That's the pandemic stuff, right?
Yeah, you get rusty, man. It's weird.
And he was real anxious, and that was weird too. Like I've never seen my dad so like insecure. That was weird. But I'm
you
so
get
proud.
anxiety,
I'm
right?
so proud that I'm grateful that he was able to make it and stuff. That
That's freaking great.
Like one, that he lived long enough, and then two, that he was able to like actually come. Like it was cool.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's fantastic.
It sounds like it couldn't have gone better, honestly.
It
all things
could
considered.
not. Everything went so smooth. It was great.
That's great. That's fantastic.
And then right after the wedding, did the honeymoon. That's like something that I'm actually surprised that you were able to
3
even
days
do.
later. Yeah,
That's pretty damn cool.
Had you planned on doing this before? Was this pushed because of pandemic stuff? Or
no, like the planning of it all worked out was just
because that's
perfect.
really good timing.
Yeah. We had the Jamaica thing kind of planned prior to my proposal,
Right.
and then we just kind of like rolled it together. We had originally planned to go with some friends, but they bailed out because they're like, "Oh, Jamaica's like blowing up with cases and stuff," and it's like, we're on resort,
not in the Sandals Resort. It ain't.
Yeah, right. We're on resort. You got to test negative.
We're vaccinated.
You got to test negative to come
Yeah.
back. Like we're vaccinated and stuff. So like, hey, whatever. That just means it's all just us. And it was. I'm actually very grateful that we got to just be just us for a week, and we didn't have to like, oh, hey, do you guys want to go do this, or like, hey, we're gonna go off and do that.
God. Yeah, you just don't want
just
to
us.
deal with. Yeah,
It was perfect. Could not. And like. Yeah, it was.
We eloped to Disney World and we loved it. It was the best decision we ever made because our families hated each other. Oh my God. Like my wife's parents were like, beat the Joneses, owned a big real estate company, multimillionaire, and my family's like, a bunch of rednecks, like growing weed in the backyard. And so our families just never really got along. So we just made the executive decision. We're like, you know what? We're just going to grab our best friends and go to Florida and go to Disney World and get married. Didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew, like, until we were already there and it was already happening. And it was awesome. We were there for like 7 days. It was, we stayed at the Disney Wilderness Lodge, which was they have a whole floor. The penthouse floor of the building is all just for newlyweds. And oh my God, it was magical. It was magical. Like we got married on the balcony of like, with the dude playing like violin music, like any songs you wanted him to play. It was neat. It was a really, really cool experience. I have to say, humid as hell.
I've been impressed. I've been impressed. I've got to say with Disney's resorts. I didn't think I would like them, and the first time I'd ever gone to one was in my 40s, and I was blown away by it.
Disneyland rocks. I've only been to just the California one. But
that's all I've done too. Just the California.
I've never had a bad time at a Disney property.
Cool,
yeah.
Disney. They sell the illusion to you. You're in it, man, and it is so cool. You as soon as you cross that threshold, you're somewhere else, man.
Yeah, there is. It's like a comfort level, isn't it? It's almost a bit.
I hate being in packed areas. I hate being around large groups, even before COVID. I hate being around large groups of people. I hate standing in lines. I hate all that crap.
Hate lines.
But for some reason, Disney does it right and like keeps you distracted enough with stuff that you don't really notice. Like you can stand in line for like a attraction for like 45 minutes, and you're just so overwhelmed looking at stuff. While you're in line, you don't notice.
And
it's like
part of it's because you're not stressing out about whether like my biggest issue with lines is I need to know that I'm in the right line, and that I'm lining up for a good reason and that it's organized.
Yeah.
If I get in a line and all of a sudden you start seeing another line forming and stuff, that I start like freaking out. I'm like that guy. I go like full. I go full McKay. Like where it's like, what is it? No, he's out of line. You know.
Well, what was cool is when we got married, you could get the those fast pass things they have.
Yeah.
Well, they actually have a new back then. They had a newlywed specific fast pass where if you had like the little thing and the hat on or whatever that was like the groom and the bride. For your whole time there, as long as you're wearing that hat and stuff, you could just go in the fast pass line and just go get on the ride. You didn't even have to wait for your fast pass.
Oh wow!
So we were just like running around and just getting on all the rides, and then they'd let us bring our friends with us, like our best man and my wife's a bridesmaid. We just bring them and they just let them get on. They're like, oh, newlyweds, if you were wearing that hat, you were treated like royalty everywhere you went. And I thought that was cool that was like part of the package. Like if you went into a place to eat and you had that on, it's like people literally got up and like gave us their table because we got married. And I thought that was just like a really, really cool thing. Like, and then I think I had like one bad experience. The guy like came out and like shoved the door and like hit my wife with it. And we kind of had a little bit of a moment, but cooler heads prevailed.
You mean your wife?
No, she was fine. But like he like bashed the door into her, like she was going in and he was coming out, and he like slammed the door into her and almost knocked her down. And then after that, instead of apologizing, he's like, watch where you're fucking going or something like that. And I just started seeing red. I was like, and my friend that was with me, like immediately he's like, all right, it's go time. We're fighting. And then the dude he had his 2 kids with him or whatever. And he's like, and basically he backed down. He's like, okay, I don't want no trouble. But that was like the whole time we were there for like a whole week. That was like the only one thing that happened. Everything else was like freaking magical. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, I was amazed myself.
It's actually not that expensive either, surprisingly. I think, well, I mean, I don't know today it probably is, but back when I got married.
Have they put the prices up? Have they had to put the prices up?
Yeah. Dude, a ticket for Disneyland, just Disneyland, not even Disney World, which is more expensive, I believe. Disneyland, it's like $160 or $170 per person.
Oh yeah, for like your day pass.
For your day pass, yeah, like, and I think that's like, is that one park or both?
I think that's just Disneyland. If you want to do California Adventure, it's a little more.
It's like an add-on. It's ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. Like when I went down last time I was at Disneyland was when I was down there with Jay's 2 cents a couple of years ago. And I want to say that my ticket was like $200 or something to do Disneyland and California Adventure.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. Like, how can anybody afford to like come to this place? But man, it's packed. It's absolutely capacity.
And the other thing is like you're spending that kind of money now on things anyways. Like, I mean, we went for Baz's birthday, Bradlett's birthday. We did Venom. We went and saw Venom 2.
Oh man, I want to go see that.
I do want to see that. Yeah.
I wouldn't bother.
Oh, don't give me that.
Ooh.
Oh, yay.
I mean, Carnage is fun, but I don't know, whatever.
I like Tom Hardy as Venom. I think
I do too. I think he makes a good Venom.
It's okay. It just didn't know whether it was a comedy or it just I don't know.
Well, I saw the trailer. Fine. It seems like it is a comedy. Like, I mean, it's straight up a comedy.
No,
right?
It's definitely comedy. But then it's hard to get all when they start doing all their emotional stuff. You're like, well, this isn't funny. But Carnage is great. He's freaking. I love that guy. Like that is like one of my favorite actors of all time. Of course, I've now forgotten his name.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. That's it. Yeah. Woody Harrelson. One of my. I actually watched. I was in a film not with him. He was in it as well. But we were basically on the same set, but never at the same time because he's my replacement, or I was his replacement, whatever the term is. So I would watch him do his scenes, and then he would get taken off, and I would come in and do my scenes. And he's freaking brilliant. Like he's just brilliant. And in this one he's wonderful. Like it's almost like back to those old was it Natural Born Killer days? Remember the Natural Born Killer?
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah. It's like that crazy. He's like that crazy. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, he seems like a trip. Like another person that I met that like surprisingly is just like you'd expect him to be from his character in Guardians of the Galaxy is the guy who plays Yondu, Michael Rooker.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he is a trip, man. He is like the hippiest, just out there. Like he walks around Comic-Con with like no entourage or nothing. He'll just go out there and just like wander around in a sea of people. And that's how I met him, because I was with somebody who was dressed up as Belle from Beauty and the Beast, and he literally like dived under her giant petticoat thing that she had and like popped out the other side with his head to take a picture. I mean, with her permission, obviously. But he's sitting there.
I was going to say,
yeah, I was like, okay, Michael, calm down, funny. But no, it was like a really funny thing. And then he stood up and he was like hanging out and talking to us and just having a good old time. And I was like, man, this is just weird. Because I'm looking at him like, man, that's Yondu, man. That's Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. And he was just a trip to hang out with. But like super, like just down to earth and like just
he seems a bit crazy. He seems like a bit nuts.
He is definitely a little nuts. Yeah. I mean, he literally walked up to her and he's like, "Oh my God, that's the most beautiful bell I've ever seen." And he's really emoting. Everybody can hear him. And she's like getting, she's blushing or whatever. He's like, "Oh my God." And he's like, "Oh, you want to get a picture? Hey, can I get under your petticoat and then we'll do like, this or whatever and take a picture." And sure enough, man, he gets down on like all fours and just like bolts up under there and pops his head out the other side. And everybody's laughing and having a good old time. But he's like, yeah, he doesn't seem to shy away from anything. He seems like one of those people where it's like he just jump up on a table. And
I always wished I could be those people. I'm far too self-conscious. Like it's like every so often I could do it, but a lot I have to be in the right mood, I find.
So
like
how many beers? No, just kidding.
That was a big part of it. A big part. Well, in a lot of convention stuff, you'll see a lot of actors will do that. Like you start drinking early because you're putting on a show all day, right? So
see, that seems like and now in this day and age, that's a huge liability.
Oh God, it is.
Like with everybody having a camera and everything going online, and like you can't make a single mistake or misstep or say a single thing wrong. It seems like those times are over, where you could get a little lubricated and walk out there, and people are like, oh, he's a little tipsy, let it go.
It happens at conventions all the time. You see just guys mainly guys just being complete idiots. I mean, there's a few women, I suppose, but mainly it's guys. I have a
phobia about being trashed in public. Like back when I drank, I was only around people I trusted and only in their house. Like I would not go out. If I went to a bar, I'd have one beer. If I was at their house, I'd be like doing Jaeger shots and pass out on their couch. But I'd never leave. I had a big phobia about that, being drunk in public. It scares the crap out of me.
I used to be drunk in public quite a bit. I spent a lot of my 20s and 30s doing it. That's why I don't drink so much now.
I think it's like a requirement of acting, isn't it? Like isn't that how you get discovered? You wander into some place thinking it's the bathroom and it's casting.
But it was kind of a thing though. Like there's this kind of thing about like being a fabulous disaster. Somehow you had to be like an extrovert, crazy, and like, oh my God, those actors, they've got, And I bought into that for a while, and as soon as you realize you don't have to be an idiot, then
wasn't there like that stereotype in Hollywood, like back in like the 40s and 50s or whatever, like the golden age of cinema, where it was like
Errol Flynn, and,
like it was actually
Jack Nicholson. I mean, like look at
that was a sexy thing back then, to be just hammered off your ass all the time and just always drinking. That was like considered like an upper class thing to do.
Yeah.
Whereas today it's like we look at it completely different now.
Well, that was it. I mean, it was Errol Flynn was the whole thing about they would go get drunk and party with 15-year-olds on boats and stuff. I mean, that was the issue. That's the stuff that's, we're beginning to look at now and go like, maybe that wasn't such a good idea.
Right.
And of course the 70s and 80s, I mean, the whole sort of like Easy Rider, Raging Bulls era was all like, Coke and alcohol fueled as well. Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wonder what it's going to look like in another 20 years. Because like every generation, because you'd think it would just loop around and just repeat itself. But I haven't seen that yet. It still seems like it's evolving. Yeah. Like, and now we're to the point where it's like with COVID and everything, everybody's home and nobody's like interacting in person, and everybody's like social media keyboard warriors. It's like, I wonder what the next generation is going to look like when we all like come out of our shells and like start packing together again. Because it's going to happen. Obviously, we're not going to, this isn't going to go on for like ever and ever and ever. But we'll eventually get over it. But it's like, I wonder what that's going to look like now. Because
I
like even me, I feel
so
worried
weird about what I said all the time.
Yeah, no, and I the thing is, like, you wouldn't think that I am because of the crazy shit I say on Twitch like 3 times a week. I literally almost go the other direction. I'm one of those people who's like, okay, watch what you say, and then I just go full send the other direction every single time.
Right.
But I'm not big enough to like really. I mean, like, what does canceling me look like? Like, hardly anybody knows I exist. So, but if you're like a super famous person, it's like, yeah, one misstep, you're done.
I do worry about that because I mean I think there's a need to call people out on shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I think it's important to know if you've done something wrong, but at the same time, I also feel like you don't want to erase them. I mean, you know what I mean? Like
what bothers me is when people dig up old shit.
Yeah.
If you fucking dig through my Twitter and you pull out some like 10-year-old tweet and you try and fucking come after me for that, no. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, but fuck you. Okay, I am not the same guy. Look, I'm 35. I am not the same guy I was at 25-year-old
guy. Yeah.
Like I bet if you scroll back through my Twitter, you'll find some stuff that I'm like, ooh, my bad. Ooh, that's
Oh, for
cringy
me,
as fuck.
absolutely.
Or like or offensive or ooh, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I'm not that guy anymore. Like you can't, and that's what bugs me. That's what I hate is when they dig out, James Gunn making crass jokes on Twitter 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's how Twitter was back then. Like that was funny. That was, and look, it's no different than your grandma still saying racist shit, right? Like, does that make your grandma a bad person? Is she an evil human being? No. But
it'd be nice to be able to educate them, though. I mean, I think that's the thing is if you immediately make them defensive, you can't.
They need the opportunity to learn. Exactly.
That's the difference. But when you got guys like, like James Charles, or the other guy who used to do the conspiracy, grooming young folk, or being weird, saying weird, inappropriate shit to 16-year-olds on TikTok and shit.
There you go.
Pattern of it. Like he's been called out a few times.
Oh my God, James Franco, like hitting on on underage girls and asking them how old they are, and then dating them. I mean, it's bizarre. No, it's
that kind of thing is super weird, and it's one thing.
I don't like equating them all together.
Right.
Yeah. You can't say Harvey Weinstein in the same breath as you say someone who said something stupid on Twitter.
Right.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't be held accountable for it. You should absolutely, and again, I expect the same thing.
That's right out. You're done, Mr. Sir.
Actually, a good example of this conversation is, have you guys seen Dave Chappelle's final Netflix thing he did? Oh my God,
no, I haven't seen that yet.
I heard what was that?
It's actually good. I'll say it. I mean, I'll get canceled for it, but no, it was actually good because at the end you have to watch the whole thing though. It's like he basically. Sorry, what is this?
I missed the beginning of it. What is this related to?
Oh, to Chappelle going or just saying inappropriate shit, like canceling you because you said inappropriate shit or you did inappropriate shit.
Right.
So Chappelle just did his final special on Netflix, and he even says this is my final special. He's like, I'm not doing another one for a long time. And
is this the anti-trans stuff?
Yeah. He goes through and he leans hard into it, but the thing is, you have to watch it to the end because the end he actually makes a really solid point. And it's actually it's a really well done point too, but you have to get to the end. Problem is nobody got to the end. Everybody got offended by the jokes. But the thing is he says, I mean, he goes after everything, not just that. He goes after everything. Like the shit that he's saying, like the funniest thing in the whole thing is he goes through, he says, you got it all wrong. He's like, I'm not transphobic. He's like, I hate white people. That's what he said. He's like, I'm not going after trans people. I'm going after white people. He's like, go back and watch my whole career. Look at everything I've done, everything I did. He's like, it ain't the trans. It's not the gays. I'm going after white people. And it's like, and everybody stands up and laughs because they're like, yeah, no, he's one of those people where he's a shock entertainer, right? He goes after things and he goes really deep and he says some really, I mean, you can tell he's like literally trying to take it to the absolute edge of being canceled, and he was successful. Like everybody, started screaming on Twitter, and that's how I even heard that he even did this, was because people were just freaking out and trying to cancel him on it. But that was his point, is like he did this to actually like illustrate and highlight this issue. This is like his swan song, if you will, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go out on this huge bang, make people think about this, and illustrate exactly what's happening right now with today's culture. And
I haven't heard it, so I can't.
Dude, it's so over the top. There were so many times if I had water in my mouth, I'd spit it out. He said he goes so far overboard. It reminds me of almost like old Eddie Murphy back in the day and stuff, like Raw and stuff like that. He really goes to that level where it's like nothing.
Well, George
is
Carlin. I mean, George Carlin's the same thing, right?
Like, exactly.
Let's say all the words you can't say on television.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so,
although I guess when you get into race and stuff, it becomes a different. That's I think right now, especially, that's the stuff you got to be.
And that's where he goes out with this whole special. Is it's his attempt to explain how, like we're like overreacting to certain things, and we're not looking at we're not looking at the context. We're only looking at the words.
100%.
Yeah, and
100%.
And he goes
context,
and he demonstrates it perfectly too. Like throughout the his performance, he demonstrates it because you are actually shocked and you are actually like pissed off at him for what he just said. But then he wraps it up and he rationalizes it later on, and you start to realize that, wait a second, okay, that was why was there such a knee-jerk reaction to assume something, right? It's like it's an interesting ride. I'll just tell you, fair warning, it's like absolutely not safe for work, and is like it's probably not going to be on Netflix for more than another 24 hours with the
really?
Yeah. It's both like their top, like 4th top rated thing on Netflix, but also like a bunch of Netflix employees have left, like trans Netflix employees have left and quit. It's they're really pissed off about
they still
his
got
performance.
Didn't they keep up that one sweetie something about the it was like vaguely
oh yeah,
pedophilic.
What was that called?
That one. That's right.
The one with like all the underage dancer girls or whatever.
Yeah, it was something about the like little kid pageant stuff or something like that.
Yeah, they rebranded it.
Yeah, they caught a lot of shit for it, but I don't think they ever took it down. Like, what does Netflix know though? Because it's not like they're going to lose. It's not like the company's going to go under if they put out something weird or like offensive to people. Like,
well, and this is all news.
Controversy breeds engagement. So like, go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, like one of the things Chappelle said,
I'm sure there's people joining as well.
So one of the things that Chappelle said that kind of resonated with me is he's like, all the people that get mad at me for the things I say,
cuties.
He's like,
that's what it was.
That's what it was. Cuties,
not sweeties.
He said they don't watch my shows. They don't come to my shows. They don't watch my performances. They don't know what I do. They don't study my history and what I do. They said they're all commenting on what I do through the lens of somebody else's opinion of what I do. And so, and he's same time, he said anybody who gets mad with him in public, people walk up to him and get mad at him about shit that he said. And it's like, where did you hear this? Like, where did you hear this? Yeah. It's never watching his show. It's never watching his specials. It's always through like some news headline or through some site that's changing the narrative and trying to reinterpret like what he's saying and what he's doing.
A good example of out of context, like headlines and stuff that would apply here. Recently, Daniel Craig. Right, he just did his last James Bond movie.
Right,
he's not James Bond no more.
We're seeing.
He says the headline you've probably seen is Daniel Craig says a woman shouldn't be James Bond. Right, that's the headline. The further context is Daniel Craig says, why would you cast a woman as James Bond? Why not write a better character for a woman that's better than James Bond, or at least like a woman equivalent to James Bond? Why cast a woman as James Bond? Write a character that is a woman James Bond.
Yeah, they could still be 007. I mean, it's just a better character.
Number, right? It's like,
and I actually feel like in that case that's more empowering, because like if you're being forced into the form of like something that's pre-existing.
Yeah,
like that seems forced. It's like become your own character, like evolve, make something new.
Agent numbers, right? I mean, that's a whole. It's James Bond. 007 is the number, so it can be anybody. It doesn't matter.
And there has been the theory is that like all of the James Bonds aren't. It isn't the same person. It's like it's a different person just carrying the mantle essentially.
Right.
Which it's like these have all been. They're not playing.
Yeah, that's not his real name. I don't think they've ever billed James Bond as being like his real name. That's part of his cover, right? Because you wouldn't just walk into a room and be like, "Hi, my name is Jerry Bird." You would
cover. He sucks at his cover.
It's obviously a part of his cover.
And there have and Andrew Preston, he says there are plenty of other 00s. Yeah, they have actually introduced other 00s. I think they reference a few of them in a bunch of the movies and stuff. So Jane Bond, but why not write like somebody mentioned Moneypenny, or why not make a film about M during World War II?
Oh my God, Moneypenny would be great as a series. That's a great.
Dude, M is brutal, man. Is the character?
I love the gal that they had playing M lately. I can't remember her name, but she's a wonderful actress.
What? Jesus, what's her name? She's brilliant.
It's not Judi Dench, is it?
Yeah, Judi Dench.
Yeah,
okay, that just like popped into my head.
Shakespearean actress.
No, she's amazing. She's amazing.
Yeah, I think people are freaking out about the James Bond part of it when I'm like, but I like 007. Like it just makes it's like you can't have a female British agent. I mean, why not? You can. What does it matter? Yeah. It's not like 007. It's not like they would have the number of the agent tied to any specific sex, anyways. Would they?
I mean, it could be anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't. Again, I think we like live in an era of outrage, and I worry that it's
controversy breeds engagement.
That's absolutely
That's
true.
the algorithm. It's the algorithm, absolutely.
It kind of. kind of. But
But it makes sense. Like oh
it's
my God,
not
look,
just-
people are reacting with this so much more than they're reacting with other ones. The AI doesn't know that it's because we fucking hate each other.
People will. Maybe it's because I'm a younger guy and I've come up through the transition from no internet to internet.
Yeah.
I with my very fiber of my being, this is not new. None of this is new. We have wanted to watch crazy shit on TV. We've wanted to hate other people and ignore other people and be outraged at what our neighbors are doing for all time. It's just more obvious now because you can there's so much information, so much content and stuff that's being just bombarded with you, so you're seeing it more.
We had limited narratives when we started.
Like, okay, throw back to the 80s. I was born in 85 or 86, so I don't know about the 80s at all.
I hate you.
Okay, no,
I love the 80s.
But I guarantee look at the beginning of the 24-hour news cycle, where all it was car chases and shootings and murders and fear and scary and blah blah blah, because that's what people wanted to watch. They're glued to it.
Mods and rockers used to fight because they liked different music.
Like as far back as history can go, there's always been, I mean, whatever, like, and it's just easier to see it now.
But would you say it's easier to see it, or is it more prevalent? Because I mean, again, I feel like there's advantages and disadvantages here, right? If you've got a limited number of sources of information like we used to have, like we had basically just big media empires that would give you the information. We then went, oh my God, the internet, we can all have our own, there's so many little niches and stuff. We no longer have the same, we're not spoon-fed the same crap now. So we all have different opinions. And then you've got a system that works better when there's more people arguing about stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I do feel like we want to tweak those. I think we do want to tweak this is how AI destroys mankind.
But no, well, kind of, but it doesn't have to, because really the algorithm is neutral. Like somebody in the chat,
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
It will feed you what you look at the most. That's all it cares about, is keeping you on a platform, keeping your eyeballs engaged. If you want to see more positive content, engage with more positive content.
But you're not making, the problem is that the way people are using it, though, is that they're not doing that. They're letting the algorithm make those choices for them. So it's one of the things I say to my son all the time. I agree. Don't click the next video. Pick the next video.
That's it.
Because they are trying to get you to engage. The videos that get the biggest hits are the ones that are the most outrageous, or the most, and the longer they can drag you on with this stuff. Like if they go, oh, look, you enjoy watching people fall down and hurt themselves.
So we're going to give you more stuff.
I watch freaking Fail Army. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Oh, same.
And thus I keep getting given more and more of this stuff. Hours can go by. So I'm just saying that it's not unbiased, because it's biased towards what's going to make you watch the most stuff, and it doesn't care whether that is a positive experience or a negative experience.
Which means you have a personal responsibility to choose the content that you want to see. Right. It comes back to you as an individual.
How do we tie the algorithms in then?
The algorithm will give you what you want to watch. Like you just said, pick the next video. If you don't want to see Keemstar and a bunch of fucking drama channels, don't watch them. The reason the Kardashians were so fucking popular, even though everybody said that they didn't like it, was because you kept watching it like a train wreck.
Couldn't stop. Yeah, the train.
You
the
chose.
Train wreck thing.
They're not
the
forcing
algorithm
you.
has figured out what we want to watch, and what we want to watch is people in
their choices.
Distress. Or
I've watched my Instagram explore page change day by day, week by week. If I want to see more D&D memes, I click on more D&D memes. If I want to see cosplay stuff, I click on cosplay stuff.
Yeah.
And it changes.
But I think we're different, because I think that you have to be, my concern is with a even younger generation, which doesn't know that, is being fed stuff constantly. And doesn't realize, like TikTok does not. Yes, TikTok, you could put in what you want to learn. And one of the things I've done with Baz is to go in and put in some educational requests.
Sure.
Because otherwise, all he gets is just mindless shit.
Sure.
Some of which is incredibly offensive. So it's and I just, so that's I realized that my father's concern with me flicking channels when I was a kid on television.
Same thing.
Yeah.
My dad got pissed at me. Why don't you just stop and look at it for a second? And then I couldn't explain it.
There's something that unbalances it, though. The algorithm gets unbalanced by one thing, and that is a human trait, a very human trait. And that is, we have a much higher tendency to engage on something negative than positive, because positive is a passive response, whereas negative is an implied need to respond. And so you end up feeding the algorithm towards negative, even though that's not your intent. You're biased towards it.
That is, that definitely ties to your lizard brain stuff, because you are pre-wired to fill. I've kind of grabbed onto this concept in recent months, is we will fill unknown spaces with negativity. That's why we're afraid of the dark. It's not the dark that's scary. It's the unknown stuff that might be there that's scary.
Yep.
When my girlfriend didn't text me back right away, so you start filling all that unknown with, oh man, she must hate me, or are we going to break up? Oh man, she must be mad.
It's because survival is based on you surviving the negative, not the positive. Yeah. So everything that you do is a survival instinct.
You're looking for threats.
Exactly.
And I see it in the comments in the chat. I see it when this topic comes up all the time. Social media is a cesspool. Social media is just nothing but a bunch of whiner, blah, 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 bullshit, anger, and people cancel culture this and fuck you that and all this. Because that's a confirmation
the rabbit hole
bias
you choose to go down.
That's a confirmation bias. You're looking for it. You may not be consciously looking for it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You notice the negativity more.
It's funny. I've noticed this recently.
That's a choice.
I've noticed this recently because with Twitter, so Twitter has always been fantastic for me. I absolutely love it.
It's my favorite social network.
Fantastic place to go because I get to meet people. In the real world, I now meet people because, we all met because of Twitter. I mean, that was basically that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I've started following a bunch of NFT and crypto stuff, and all of a sudden, my stream and my direct messages and stuff have changed considerably. And I'm getting a lot of scammy stuff. I'm getting a lot of scummy stuff. Because the NFT stuff is kind of fringy stuff, and there's some pretty dodgy folks involved in it and stuff. People saying click my link to see what I look like, and it's I don't click links from people I don't know.
Anywhere there's money, there's going to be scams.
Yeah, and if you're on the internet, I don't care what you look like. That's not why I'm there. You know what I mean? Well, other than there are times that perhaps I would, but for the most part, when I'm engaging with someone, I don't give a shit what they look like. I care about what they have to say. And I'm on Twitter to see what people have to say about stuff, not what they look like in a freaking bathing suit. If I want to do that, I could. There's plenty of sites for that. So
yeah, there's a site for that.
But Twitter has definitely changed because of that. Not necessarily for the worst, not for the worst. I've chosen to engage in those things. I think one of the mistakes I've made is they will recommend people now. You notice that where they'll say you're into NFTs, click this link. I click it to get all those people added to my follows, and all of a sudden I'm like, crap, I got things in here I don't want, and I don't know how to find them.
The other thing is, if you respond to somebody who's negative, now because you responded to them and so threat, all the people that follow them that are also other negative people now dogpile onto something they didn't see before, and then it just starts a war. It's basically just that's unfortunately your human brain says, I see something that's unjust or just disgusting, and I want to throw down on it, but it always ends to the same outcome. And if you keep doing that over and over again, the algorithm's you know what, this guy likes to be fed shit, so let's just keep feeding him shit.
Well, people forget that things aren't black and white. We are all shades of gray, because it's this idea that for somehow that a good person can't do bad things. Good people do bad things all the time. Bad people do good things. That's what the problem is.
Yeah.
And I think if we pretend that doesn't exist, we are screwing ourselves. We're just we're fucked.
Well, even the concept of good and bad is largely subjective.
Yeah, what does that mean? Even by Christo-Judeo
all perspective
rules, or what?
Islam, Christianity, Mormonism, Scientology, they all have different definitions of what's good and bad, right? So
yeah,
it's perspective at that point. Yeah. But what's weird is the internet makes us all feel and this is how I feel. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me how you feel, but it does
makes you feel itchy.
No, it does definitely. No, it makes me feel like I'm the center of the universe. And that's one thing that social media does a really good job of, is because you're looking at it from the perspective of, this is my page, this is where I curate, I hold the band hammer, I can pick who I want to stay, send who I want to leave, respond to anybody I want.
I am God.
You're basically God, everybody, but everybody has that same perspective, so people have a lot less tolerance for each other. And I've even noticed this, like, even from me. I mean, taking a shot at myself, I'm not very tolerant. Like, when it comes to some things, it drives me absolutely freaking. Well, it is, but sometimes it gets to the point where it starts negatively affecting me, and that's when it's not okay. Yeah. Like it's one thing for me to like engage and do what I think is right, but when I do it to such an extreme that it's like a detriment to my own mental health and it starts affecting me negatively and the people around me negatively, then it's like, to what ends? Like, what am I really accomplishing here? And it's unfortunate because go ahead.
Look, I was just I used to have this like saying which I loved, which was, it's not enough to succeed, others must fail.
No.
And which I thought was very funny, and I used to say it all the time, and people would laugh, and then I suddenly went, oh my God, like that's so fucking wrong. Because you spend, all of a sudden, it's not about you anymore. It's not about what you can do. It's just about what other people can't, and there's always people out there who are better at things than you, or more successful, or more.
Always.
And if you focus on that stuff all the time, you go fucking nuts. Yeah. And the only person you're hurting is yourself in this situation. And I'm telling myself that as I say it, I still do it. I'm still jealous. I'm horrible jealous thing.
I mean, that's okay. I think too, like, to be a little jealous, it gives you motivation to strive, to reach for more, to be bigger, better, smarter, faster, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. As long as you don't let it like evolve into hate.
Which it does. Which is what it does. It just eventually it descends into that. If you focus on it too much, you start hating. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not cool.
I feel like a constant in the universe that bothers me, though, is that there's a finite amount of everything. Like resources, doesn't matter. It could be mental attention, it could be money, it could be power. Sure. There's a finite amount of resources, so you don't really create more of it so much as you just move it around between people. And so it ends up becoming this competition that we didn't really notice because we never had, like, the internet brought us all together. It's like everybody in the world is like in each other's face, right?
Yeah.
It's like information overload. I don't think humans ever evolved to be able to process this many like inputs from this many people.
That's why we've invented AI, is to deal with massive amounts of information.
And then of course we program the AI with the same deficiencies that we share. So it's like we end up just creating a faster version of our shit.
Yeah.
But I feel like when it comes to money, it's like the people that have insane amounts of wealth, in order for them to get that wealth, they have to have somebody else give it up. Like they have to get it from somewhere else, right? It's not like it's not like everybody can be a billionaire, because if everybody was a billionaire, then $1 billion wouldn't be worth anything. Right? Like what defines its value is that some people have a lot more of it than the average, right? The average is the baseline. The people below it have to, they struggle, and the people above it don't. And so you have this system where it's like people will do anything to try to get into that bucket of whether it be power, money, even just opinion, attention bandwidth, and people just, fame is a big one, that people tend to grasp onto. They do a tweet or they make a video and it gets 1 million views and they're like, oh my God, this changed my life. It's like, did it really?
I'm gonna be rich.
Like, I'm gonna be rich. Oh, I'm gonna be, oh my God, everybody knows who I am. It's so amazing. And
it's the worst kind of fame, because you've got fame without anything to help support you in that fame.
Yep. Right. And you don't even really know why. That's the other thing too, is that's not sustainable, right? Just because you created a viral video because you tripped through an intersection drunk and got tagged by a car or something, that's not going to happen every day.
Famous.
Right? I'm famous. Woo. And you've seen those videos where it's like these memes have literally killed people, driven them to suicide and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like you've seen these
well, look at that Instagram, the findings on Facebook, the whole Instagram things where they're saying like, oh look, girls are killing themselves because they feel, that they're not as pretty or as smart or whatever they should be.
And the problem is we're seeing the Hollywood effect play out like on everybody now. It used to be that you go to Hollywood, you become an actor, you get David's like, oh man, I'm gonna start relating to this really quick. No, but like you go there and it's like you get really famous, you do like your biggest role, you're up at your apex, and then at some point you have to come down. Right? You at some point it's not gonna maintain to the day you die. You're not gonna be like this super hyper famous or every day on day, right? At some point you gotta come down. And with child actors that aren't ready for that, they blow up and they're like, they have everything, right? And then they grow up and they're like, I don't have friends, I don't have jobs anymore, my money's going away. It's like they get slapped in the face with it and they're not prepared to handle it. And I feel like that effect where Hollywood can like chew up kids and stuff like that, I feel like the internet does that to the average person now. It's like you can go create a TikTok.
It's not even Hollywood.
Exactly. It's not Hollywood. You just you become famous for like one thing, and then you try to remodel your entire life around trying to recreate that lightning. But it's not that simple. It's not, you could recreate it. It all had to do with the timing of that singular event and how it unfolded and how the AI presented that given all the other variables. There's no guarantee that if you keep doing that, you're going to be successful. And at some point, that success will inevitably go away. You may be able to sustain it, you may be able to grow up more, but at some point, it's going to go away. And I don't feel like humans are really well equipped for that. Like just in general, I think that like when you live like what's considered like an average life, right? Where it's like you have your hobbies, you make enough money to live comfortably, you have your family, you have your kids, you grow up, you focus on that and everything. I feel like you have kind of like this baseline throughout your life where it's just like, you know, little ups and downs, but it's like baseline. When you go famous and you have like crazy amounts of money or you win the lottery, it throws you completely off that trajectory. And now your whole life is just a sawtooth. And I feel like the internet does that to a lot of people. Like, I feel like, you know, it used to be just, you know, 1% of the population in Hollywood or whatever that this really happened to. And now it's like every day you have entire empires created and destroyed across just average people just playing around on their cell phone.
Well, this was always, I mean, this was in a way always Hollywood, right? I mean, Hollywood's the illusion of Hollywood was that you were going to sort of show up and be standing at a bus stop and someone was going to go, oh my God, you're the guy I need in my movie. Or you're the young lady who I, you know, like there's this myth about that dream that I think people still follow, and they see it on YouTube as well. Again, that's going to be fed to us by the companies. Like YouTube wants, it's like a pyramid scheme. YouTube wants you to believe that this is the lifestyle that you can live. And, you know, I mean, it's like we're selling a lifestyle, and as the movie stars are. I mean, people talk about people's body image on Instagram. Every freaking beauty magazine from Vogue to whatever has been airbrushing their models forever. Like, that's changing now. Like, we're realizing that that's just maybe a stupid thing to do. You know, but it's I think that sort of that need to, everyone wants look, this is why the crypto, the NFT stuff is so popular. People want that. They want all of the fame and the money without doing the work.
Exactly.
And the reality is the people who
somebody
get
had
the
to
true
say
fame,
it. Yeah. No, exactly.
But the people who get the fame and the money are generally the people who work really fucking hard at it.
Yeah.
You see, that's the one thing I'm going to disagree with you on, is that's how it used to work. I don't feel like it works that way anymore. I feel like it's whoever is willing to compromise their morality the most, those who are willing to abuse others the most, is the fastest path to money and fame. Think about it. Can you think of like anybody like Kardashians, for instance, right?
Fast.
It's
is the key there, right? Is the fast.
And in the short term, I would argue.
Like, let me give you an example. I talked about this on my Twitch stream the other day at great lengths. I was talking about, people were asking me like, why don't you just take sponsorships? Like, dude, you're obviously hurting for money. I am. You know, and you know, I why don't I take a $15,000, you know, payday from Raid Shadow Legends or whatever to promote this game that preys on kids, right? Like, why don't I do that? Like, everybody else does it. They're like, it's no big deal because everybody else does it. It's not like you'd be the only one doing it. Like, people understand that those are just brand deals and it's a big deal. But it's like, no, that's not what I want to do. But the person who's willing to do that is going to get more views. They're going to get more money, and they're going to grow because that company is going to promote them because they need to get them to more people so that they can continue to promote their game and be an influencer. And why don't you do a bunch of giveaways? Well, because if I do a giveaway with a company, I'm not saying these are bad things. I understand that this is how it works, right? This is how the system works. But it's like, why don't you just do a bunch of giveaways like every week? Like, there's companies that would happily send me products just to give away to my audience. And I would just grow out of control, and they would share me in the giveaways. Everybody would enter through Gleam, and I'd get 100,000 followers every month. And I've seen it. I understand how that method works, and it grows. But the problem is, like, when does it stop? Like, where do you hold short? Where do you say, okay, this is the line, this is the limit that I'm going to go to? Because each step you get closer to justifying the next step that used to be a stretch. Now it's close because you're like, okay, I was just like, you know, pimping this crappy product that nobody should have. Now I'm pimping like, you know, offshore gambling to like 13-year-old kids with cryptocurrency. And then next thing you know, I'm taking $250,000 in private jet rides from like people that are literally harvesting kidneys from children or whatever, you know, and send them to Korea.
But there are always going to be people who will do better than you at that as well.
Right.
I mean,
but my point is,
you don't enjoy doing.
No, absolutely. But my point being is, like, the less ethical you are, and the more willing you are to abuse and exploit other people or to take advantage of other people, the easier path you have to success, at least in the short term. I'm not saying long term. I think it actually comes back to bite you and screws you almost every time.
Yeah, I think
it does.
Yeah.
But I'm
Although
just saying,
it doesn't necessarily either.
It doesn't necessarily.
Right, that's the problem. Right?
But it's alluring, and that's what worries me, especially like with my son, because I try to look at things through the lens of a father, right? Because my son has changed everything. My whole outlook. I started my YouTube career before my son was born, and I look at it completely different now. Like now that he's born, because I look through it through the lens of him, and I see how innocent and how gullible he is to things that he sees, right? Because he just unless he knows otherwise, he takes it for granted. Like this person's telling me something, I have no reason to believe that they would lie to me. He'll come into the room and be like, oh, my favorite, my favorite YouTuber on YouTube Kids or whatever talked about like this new toy line that he has, and I really want that. And I'm like, why do you really want that? Oh, because he's my favorite, and I want to help.
Why are you
I want to
playing
help
this
his
game?
channel.
Because because so and so just picked it up again.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. Why? Because they got fucking paid to do it.
They got paid to do it. It's like that's not their favorite.
Maybe they didn't.
Maybe they not, but most likely.
But for the most part, yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, I just look at it, I'm like, nowadays it just seems like that is a way more accessible thing to the average person. Maybe that's not a bad thing either in the grand scheme of things, because why just reserve that for the 1% elite, right? Everybody should have an equal opportunity to decide if they want to be a shitbag or not. But the point being is, it's like, it's available to everybody, and all kids are seeing that and having it crammed down their throat every day. That's like, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Which is a good thing. Like, if you see something, you should look up to it. Like, that guy plays baseball, I want to go play baseball. That guy's a race car driver, I want to go drive. We've been doing that forever, right? But now the problem is it's like, those were things that took a lot of conviction, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of like, you had to really go after it. Now it's like, dude, all I have to do is make a video where I like, walk up and smack people on the street, and I'm going to get a sponsorship from like G Fuel and make 100 G's a year by making videos where I just make people uncomfortable.
Like, you think that, I mean, everyone's on TikTok now everyone's trying to force their voice onto TikTok now. Like, how do I make TikTok work? And myself included, I'm experimenting with it as well. Obviously not now, but I mean, I would and have. But I feel like I feel like there's so much competition. If you're trying to be something, okay, this is a slight aside, but there's like this myth of authenticity. This idea that authenticity is something that you can create. It drives me fucking nuts. When they talk about, oh my God, man, me too. You're so authentic. I'm like, what the
authenticity?
Fuck does that mean? You've got to be authentic. They say you've got to be authentic. I was like, how could you not be authentic? Like, I understand what you're like.
It's reality TV, dude. Whoa. It's the premise of
faking stuff.
You're faking.
Yeah. Either you're authentic or you're fucking lying. It's one of the two. Yeah. But we all do both. Like, we all present the best. Yeah. The best side of ourselves, unless you're a fucking idiot like me, who every so often makes an idiot.
No. But it's the three faces, right?
It's the grand illusion.
I don't know. It's attributed to Japanese culture. I don't know how true that is, but they say that you have three faces: the one you present to the world, the one you present to like your close people, your family and close friends, and the third that no one ever sees. That's the true you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and or like there's other cliches that go like, you can dine with a man for 50 years and then hold him over a volcano and you'll truly know the man, kind of thing, right? That kind of a stuff. And of course, I'm a little bit different here than I am if me and Jerry were just chatting at Starbucks over a cup of coffee versus how I am with the girls versus how I am with just my lady. Like, and it's everybody, and that's okay. Like, that doesn't mean you're false.
No one wants to see
everyone
despairing.
Yeah. Everyone is a multifaceted, and you show different facets of who you are to different people in different ways,
but the idea that you can create authenticity drives me nuts, because I go, it's not a marketing thing.
No, the second you create it,
excited about something or you're not.
Yeah,
and own up one way or the other. Like I look at Twitch streams for as an example. Like I am as much as me as I am because it's easier, right? I can't play a character. I'm not that. I'm just, it's exausting. I can't.
Yeah, it's true, and it's not fun. I don't find it.
It's not.
If I gotta be
there's some great folk who do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Yep. There's so last night Baz had a couple of friends over last night for his like birthday fucking month celebrations. Yeah, exactly. And they were watching this YouTuber who, I gotta say, it kind of drove me nuts, but at the same time, I was sort of marveling. This guy just reviews chips,
like potato chips.
Potato chips,
sick. I dig it.
He's talking about potato chips, and he's like, this is suck my dick.
That's authentic.
Good. Like, that's how he referenced.
I love it.
I was like, oh, dude, like, so I'm both cringing, and at the same time, I'm going like, it's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, he owns his thing. I dig it.
That's it. And I love that there is a place for those things. I'm concerned that what happens next is all of those kids talked me into going to Loblaws, and we went and bought all of those fucking chips.
Okay.
Now, I should not have done that, but it was like birthday night. I thought it would be, they wanted snacks, midnight snacks. So we went and bought all those chips. And then I start going like, but okay, is it authentic? Or is there money changing hands? Is this guy legit? Is this guy not legit? Like, is he just selling us chips? In a way, yes.
Well, yeah, sure.
There was no declared sponsorship.
So, okay. So, I mean, there's still a question there, I suppose, because technically you're supposed to, but does that somehow color the experience? Does that change the enjoyment of the content or the fun that you had with the kids going out and buying the chips?
It does make me wonder about how much of it is about not so much us making decisions as decisions being made for us, like we are so susceptible to that stuff. Like especially as kids, but myself as well. Like I started going like, well, wait a second. Am I interested in streaming because of all the streaming I've been seeing? Well, yes, of course. But am I being sold equipment because that's what have I been groomed by these companies to be interested in robots? Like I didn't,
I feel the same way, man. We're vibing right now.
Well, you are influenced all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
And again, it's not inherently bad. You've been influenced, and before you were ever on the internet, you were influenced by your parents, by their friends, by your friends.
I'm an actor because I watched Doctor Who.
Sure.
That is why I am an actor.
And does that then change? Does that make like the fact that you were influenced by Doctor Who, consciously or unconsciously, does that then make all of your like success and career in that, like, is that darker now? Like, is it bad now because
no. I mean, it worked out very well.
Manipulated as a kid to go into acting. Like,
I think there's a key difference there.
That is interesting, though. That is a good point, though. Have I been manipulated by the media that's being fed us?
Yes, of course you have.
Yes,
no, but I think there's a distinctive difference, though.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. You were manipulated all the time.
No, it worked well
peer
for
pressure,
me.
Peer pressure from your friends, peer pressure or pressure from tradition, right? Like, oh man, tradition is just peer pressure from dead people,
we're back
right?
To Judeo-Christian shit. Yep.
Or whatever tradition. Whatever tradition.
Well, if you go back to everything we do is program behavior, right? I mean, unless you see something, you don't know about it, right? Aside from instinct. It's like you have to learn things, right? You like language, the things we're saying right now, the way we feel, our religious structure, our culture, all that's learned, right?
Yeah.
So I get that, but the one thing where I think there is a delineation here is, like David said, that he was inspired to become an actor by Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who never billed itself as reality. Doctor Who was always a work of fiction, right? And he enjoyed it, and he understood that it was a craft of acting, and that the person that plays Doctor Who isn't really Doctor Who.
After I was 4, yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Of course.
But here's the problem is now, in the world that we live in today, it's like there is no clear delineation between what is real and what is fantasy. It's everything is being presented as being real. Everything is being presented as being authentic.
Everything's authentic. That's the concern. I think that's Barnacules. That's really,
and that's where I get thrown by this, is because you don't know what you're watching. Like, actually, the grand illusion that was broken for me, like the time where I became really jaded, was when I went to Vlogger Fair. So when I went to Vlogger Fair, I'd never had my world rocked so much in my entire life. Like, I was just literally like in a headspin, like, what in the hell is happening right now? Because you have all these people that have these successful YouTube channels where it's like they're singing Disney show tunes, and they're the perfect atomic family, with the kids, and and praise, Jesus, and my blah, blah, blah. And then, like, in the green room, they're like yelling at each other. The kids are screaming. The dad's like, shut fuck up, and getting kicked out by security. And,
really?
Dude's like cheating on his wife on Ashley Madison and gets busted on it. And it's like, and it's Shay Carl, I met him, super hyped up dude, super energetic. Like, everybody looks at him like Shaytard's greatest family on earth. And it's like, he's like hitting coke and has an alcohol addiction, is like falling apart. It's like, it's all just an illusion, but people think it's real. So they try to base their life on it. And it's like unobtainium. It's like, do you think the Kardashians are really like what they present? No, that is heavily scripted, heavily scripted, heavily planned for entertainment value.
Edited.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough.
At least I'm sure a good portion of that is like what's really happening. But like,
I guarantee you, they say cut. We didn't have the camera running. We didn't have the microphone running. Hey, can we get another sound bite? Hey, can you guys do that again? I see that so much with vloggers, dude. Yeah, when I was at Vlogger Fair, dude, I watched the dude. He's like, I watched this many times. This just drove me fucking nuts, right? Because I used to vlog, right? And I watched other vloggers, right? I watched vloggers like Chris Perillo and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to walk around, just record everything on my camera, edit together, and then day, good, bad, or otherwise, and release a vlog. And I thought that's how it was done. No, I go to Vlogger Fair and I'm watching these guys. It's like, you know, okay, get down here, kid. Get down here, kid. Okay, bring it in here. Okay, hey, what's up, guys? We're at Vlogger Fair. Oh my God, we're so blessed to be here with Chris Perillo. Okay, oh shit. Fuck, damn it, I didn't push record on the camera. Okay, kids, say, start again. Okay, wait, do I gotta fix my hair? No, just do it. Goddamn. Okay, hey guys, we're at, and they just keep amping it up and amping it up. They do like 3-4 takes.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think
that is not, like, people are watching that and they're thinking you guys are like this happy family. And it's like, no, you're stressed out and at each other's throats and want to kill each other.
Yeah.
And it's produced, but everybody watching it's like, oh my God, they're so wonderful. Like, I watch everything they put out because they're such a good family and they teach us good values. And it's like, no, that's not healthy values. It's not healthy values to teach that every family gets along flawlessly and doesn't have any problems and everything's magical.
And films everything.
Exactly.
I think maybe that's like something that I took from the weird transition of not internet to internet is it was beat into me in a metaphorical sense that to not trust like anything you see on the internet.
Same with me, dude. Like,
and
I grew up on the internet.
So for us, it was TV but radio.
I'm comfortable with it. Like I have trust in certain things and whatnot, but it always comes with a vague cynicism, especially anything video related. Any video is to me immediately skeptical. Like,
I don't. The same. Yeah.
And like one of my favorite things years ago, the intern, my little one, she used to watch this show on YouTube, Chad and V. And they had this long running like series of where they were like fighting these hackers who kept like trying to like, oh, they're going to delete our channel. And they ran it kind of like almost in a similar sense to like Dora the Explorer, right? They'd be like, oh, what do you think the answer to this crazy, help us with this crazy puzzle, blah, 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 like in the comments. And it's like, well, it's not live. Like, why would you bother commenting? Like, you're not helping them solve this puzzle. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
But she's, 9 or something. And
my son's the same way. He's 11. And he sits there and talks to some.
When she finally, when it finally clicked in her head that this was all fake, that it was like scripted and whatnot, she stopped watching because it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Like, you don't like this anymore because now you found out like it was, it's scripted essentially. Like this is a show. I'm sorry to hear that, but like, it all is like all of this. None of this is. I mean, these cringy teen like prank. Oh, I'm gonna prank my girlfriend and pretend like we're breaking up or something. It's fake. It's all fake. They did this 7 times this afternoon. Like, watch the window.
Reality
between these jump cuts. Like, the sun is changing and stuff. Like, this is all they make this all up. Like,
but this is reality television. Why we started calling it unscripted.
But that's why it's okay. Once you realize it, you can then just accept it for what it is as entertainment and just and watch it and let kind of like. It's like it's like when you realize Harry Potter is a work of fiction.
Yeah.
What? Right? But it for me at least, it changes something, and I can suspend my disbelief. I can give myself over to the story and enjoy it or not. And it's when you take it all too seriously. It's when you let that sort of that's the charade, the facade be the reality. I don't know. I remember somebody, an old boss of mine, was like, you want to know the best way to not be like emotionally engaged with a movie? Like, oh, you're watching some movie and you're like, oh, I'm so sad and like this guy's dying. Just remember, just outside of the screen that you're watching is all the cameras and microphones and a bunch of there's a million people all just outside of that little view. It's all fake. It's all nothing. And so then you can choose at that point to invest emotionally into the story or not.
I remember my son being terrified by an ad for The Walking Dead, which for some reason was airing. They put an ad in front of one of his YouTubers, kid Minecraft YouTubers, because they were doing like a zombie thing. And anyways, so this ad comes on, terrifies him. Absolutely terrifies him, like screaming upstairs. And I came running upstairs. He's like, oh my God. And he was like really young, shouldn't have been watching it. I'm a bad parent. But so what we did was we then went online and looked at how you built these creatures out of latex and all that kind of stuff. And he still to this day talks about that, about how, oh my God, I was like so scared. And then I saw that it's like you put the rubber on and then sometimes the rubber doesn't stick very well. And this is the best glue to use. And like, it's perspective on this stuff, right?
Yeah, Xander's the same way. Like I remember the first time we watched even cartoons, which I thought was interesting. Like you just assume that a kid would think cartoons aren't real, right? It doesn't look real. It's no, kids totally think freaking Autobots are real and stuff until you tell them otherwise. They think it's they think it's just a different perspective. I remember watching Futurama, and it's like Fry like crashes like the spaceship into the building and explodes into fire, and like nobody dies, right? But it shows like all the skeletons like hanging on a rack, and he's like, "Oh my God, they're dead! I can't believe they're dead!" And I was like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And I had to really explain to him. I'm like, "No. This is a cartoon." And still to this day, even at 11 years old, every once in a while when something happens on the TV, like if we're watching something, it's like a movie, and somebody crashes, like, did he die? And I'm like, only in the movie. Only in the movie, not in real. It's just acting. And then you can tell he's relieved because he gets genuinely concerned. And it's just interesting to see that because it's like we take it for granted.
It's nice to see that empathy though, too.
It is. He's an incredibly empathetic kid, but that's why I'm afraid, that the world is going to eat him alive. It's like I got to prepare him. Because
guilt and fear, my friend.
He's way too trusting and way too gullible, and like I gotta do everything that I can to make sure that he's got a fighting chance out there. Because it's not getting any better. That's the thing is like as we move forward, it's like the more people that are trying to be internet famous and run scams and try to do it used to be just a small group of people that were doing it, but now it's like literally everybody. Like I talk to people that watch my stream, and it's like the most common comment I see is you inspired me to stream myself. And I think that's a really cool thing. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Now you're going to stream. But what happens when everybody is streaming and like nobody is watching and everybody's competing like to get money from these companies to like keep it going, keep the mechanism going and keep getting on the front page and keep being relevant? There is so much of a need to take shortcuts. It's only, what it reminds me of is like freaking steroid use in like competition.
Yeah.
It's like you have a need at a certain point where you're like, I'm just not good enough to compete on this field, so I need help. And then you start justifying doing some pretty questionable things to get that help. And it's hard for me to talk about a lot of this stuff because it's like it is part of like, how I make my living. Like if I didn't have affiliate links, I wouldn't have that revenue, right? If I didn't have a mechanism through Twitch or advertisements or a way to like get bits or something through some system that's supported by ad revenue, I honestly wouldn't be able to make a living. I wouldn't be able to feed my family. So it's like good that those things are there, but I also try to play devil's advocate to myself and keep myself a little grounded and say, you know what? This shit sometimes goes a little bit too far.
Well, there shouldn't be anything wrong with earning a living. I mean,
there's
nothing wrong with. People all know that we have to earn money in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
It's about us getting to the point where we can be transparent about how that's being done.
And
there's this whole thing about like, you need to create a community, not an audience. It's like, no, you don't. You need to create an audience. Yeah. Because if you're just creating a community trying to sell stuff, then you're just fucking lying to people, right? Yeah. I mean, it's another thing that I see all the time. It's like, oh no, I built this wonderful community. I was like, that you then sell shit to? No, it's an audience. It's a fucking audience. Like,
See, that's the part that's one of the things I hate about sometimes being a content creator is that I get to see behind the curtain, right? It's like when the magic is ruined, like when you watch magic tricks, it's really fun. Like I remember one of my favorite magic shows I ever saw was this street performer in Las Vegas, right? He had he had like this little table backpack on, not a lot of stuff, just like a wooden table on his back that had like 4 legs, and he like sets it down and he gets the crowd out and he's like, okay, you guys just don't stand behind me. He stands up against a wall because obviously he's going to be doing sleight of hand and stuff. And he starts doing stuff that's just blowing my mind. I cannot explain how this guy's doing it. He's like literally pulling like watermelon, like a giant watermelon out of like a baseball cap on his head. And and he's handing it to us and letting it. It's like, it's a real watermelon, then putting it on his head, like putting the cap down and hiding like a 12-pound watermelon. You're like, and the crowd's like, whoa. I mean, he was so good. I gave him $20. And it's like, I was I wasn't even drunk. It was the best performance I ever saw in my life. But then I went home and I was like, how did he do that? So I went and found him online. And I went and found YouTube videos, and I found people that were recording him and people that were recording behind so that I could see the gimmicks.
Yeah. Right.
And I started to understand like how he was pulling it off. And once I knew how it was done, it was no longer fun to watch anymore because I was like, it's still a skill. It's talented, but it's not magic anymore. It's not like I understand how it works. So he's just like really skilled at what he does, but at the same time, it's just not as interesting as it was. So the illusion's broken. Right. And I feel like as a content creator, that happened to me because it's like, all these advertisements that people run and these ad inserts and these subtle ways that they try to manipulate their audience into like, signing up for like giveaways or going and getting into cryptocurrency and stuff like that. It's like, I get to see behind the scenes because I'm the person all those marketing companies are also sending those materials to. So like when I watch a video and I see a guy going, oh, Raycon earbuds now with like the greatest sound ever, and I use them ever, I'm literally like playing along in my head. Like those are literally the bullet points that were required as a part of the contractual obligation. And it drives me nuts because I'm like, dude, these guys don't mean a word of it what they're saying. It's like there's no truth in advertising anymore. It's like
so weird though, because like I don't know, testimonials have been a thing for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you've had celebrities like look at Shaq doing Icy Hot or whatever. Like
do you think
he really uses Icy Hot in his day-to-day?
No, but that's the funny thing is like for some reason on the TV we didn't really fall for that. Well, I guess some people did.
Oh yeah, of course. Like I mean, still, of course. Like I mean,
like when Jessica Simpson got a Louis Vuitton, my wife wanted that exact same Louis Vuitton purse, like because Jessica Simpson was like big to her back in the day.
I mean,
it does work. It definitely does work. Like seeing somebody.
The reason we're seeing it is because it works.
Yeah,
it does.
Well, yeah,
but the Rode thing is just so the Rode thing with you, Barnacules, is interesting here. You're talking about Rode because it's your experience with them is legit and is a good one.
And there's no money, and I didn't sign a contract, so I can say whatever I want. If I open that up as a piece of shit, I'm going to say it.
Whereas my response is like, thanks, you sent me one for free, but it's still I gotta call it out on when it doesn't work.
Right, but if you signed a contract and they paid you $1,500 to promote that product, you would be in default legally if you did not promote that.
Yeah.
And they do go after content creators. That's what content creators.
That's why I just don't want to. Like, I don't like. To me, it's like. And also the other thing is that you say about how you could bounce ahead by taking these things. The reality is I'm not sure you could in it for any kind of sustainable way, because
exactly
the only thing you've got is that trust, right? Again,
I agree.
You talk about audience versus community and stuff like that. Like, yes, there's a community around Stargate and stuff, and you become a good member of community by being a part of that community, right? Yeah. Not selling to that community. And then I have the YouTube and the stream and stuff, which is an audience, which I'm using to help with bandits, the tech bandits. But that's an audience. That's like, yes, there's a community element to it, but it's created so that I can help tech bandits keep going. Like that's
but
what
the difference is tech bandits is your thing, right? So it's like, obviously absolutely. You have a vested interest. Obviously you mean what you're saying. It's natural, right?
Yeah.
But if you're selling Raid Shadow Legends or
community thing.
Yeah, if you're selling offshore crypto gambling, like what is this, Whobets or something, was it Rubets or some site that's like, there's a bunch of drama around it right now. That's like this offshore betting site that a bunch of big influencers like Steve Will Do It and stuff are like advertising this in every single thing. Like, go get a VPN, kids, and go gamble on this offshore site and make tens of thousands of dollars.
What about those? People pitching VPNs all the time, and they're the ones that are storing all the information now. It's crazy.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I'm actually an affiliate for Nord, but I don't have a contract with them, and I rarely, if ever, promote them. If somebody asks me about a VPN,
NordVPN,
yeah, I've used them for like 3 years. Yeah, but I tell people, they do charge too much. Like there are cheaper VPN solutions. The reason I use them, though,
I'm using Surfshark right now, and I don't know if it's any good or not. I have no idea.
There's a lot of good VPNs. The only reason I use Nord is very simple. It has nothing to do with the only reason is because they're literally in Panama. That's it. That's it. Because the VPN
and do you have them tied into your PFSense?
Yes. Yeah. No, I have the whole house going through WireGuard gateway.
About that because I got to figure out how to do that too.
Yeah, it's actually easier to do in the latest version. The latest version is like cakewalk. The old version, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare.
It's a nightmare right now for me. I'm like, I've got so much stuff to learn on that thing. It's insane. Because I also want to isolate my IoT devices.
Yeah, I also tell people if they sign up with NordVPN, I'm like, dude, if you don't get the speed you want, and you don't get the service that you want, like, cancel it, dude. Get your money back. Like I don't like take my affiliate commission. I don't give a shit. Because I didn't sign a contract. I don't have to, but the people that sign the contract, because you can sign a contract with them, like, to get a better rate or get paid ahead of time. And if you do, then you have to hit all the bullet points and be like, oh, and Nord and blah, 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 protects your security and make sure that you're encrypted. Nobody can ever see what it's all smoke and mirrors and bullshit. It's not. It's a VPN gives you another IP on the internet and an encrypted tunnel. That's it. You can still put lots of shit through that thing that's going to personally identify you. You can still have that IP people connect back through it to your computer. It's just a different entry point to the internet. It's not this magic thing that everybody bills it as. Why do you use a VPN? Because if some little 12-year-old shithead decides, that he wants to fire up low Earth orbit ion cannon and ICMP or SYN flood you just push one button, get a new IP address. Now he's starting over from scratch again, right? So that's why I use a VPN, right? And the reason I use Nord is because they're based in Panama, which means that nobody can actually subpoena them from any other country. Like there's no extradition there. So if you use like private internet access, great VPN, but based in the United States, which means if they want to log you or they want to get subpoenaed for logs, they can't do anything about it. They have to abide by federal law.
VPN? Is there no way to do your own like open source VPN?
You totally can.
I'd love to do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, what you do is you just go rent a virtual private server. Just go to like Azure or AWS or something and just rent some machine time, deploy a virtual machine with Linux on it, and set up a VPN and connect to it. And then you control everything. But the only problem with that is usually they give you a static IP address, which means that if somebody does figure out what your IP address is for your VPN, you can't easily roll it. So that becomes a little bit of a problem. Whereas a VPN, you just push a button, you get a new IP address, and there's literally tens of thousands of them you can get. But yeah, no, having your own VPN is cool. A lot of people do it, and it's not that expensive too, as long as you're not doing crazy bandwidth. It depends on, because you're going to be paying for bandwidth when you're going through like AWS and stuff like that. So if you have like a gigabit connection that's symmetrical and you're pushing just insane amounts of data and video and stuff like that, then your bandwidth bill is probably going to be pretty high, and you're going to end up paying way more for VPS than you would just a VPN.
Is there a way to have, there must be a way of having like a virtual network on pfSense that you log into when you want to be using a VPN only?
Yeah, you can totally do that. Yeah, I don't have mine set up that way, but I know Wendell from Level 1 Tech does. He just sets up VLAN 1 to go through WireGuard. And then what he does is on his computer, he basically just has a virtual Ethernet adapter connect to VLAN 1. He just switches between the network cards when he wants VPN and doesn't want VPN.
Oh man, okay, I got to pick your brains on this because
there's a lot of different ways that you can set it up. But honestly, just using the client is fine too. Like I find that a lot of the stuff I don't need to go through the VPN because why take the overhead? Yeah, like there's no reason to take the overhead unless you actually need the security. Live streaming is the only thing I do where I really actually need the security. So that's what I use VPN for. So even though I have it enabled on the router, the only thing that's routed through it right now, I think, is this box on my laptop, and that's it.
Right.
And I still disable it most of the time because it's like, why incur the penalty? Even if it's only like 5 to 10%, like why incur the penalty at all?
It still slows it down. In a lot of cases, not everything, but I've been pretty surprised. Surfshark's been pretty good for me. I just have no idea whether it's actually secure in any way. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Before, just because I'm beginning to run out of time, do you want to hit on some of these? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Twitch breach because that's
this is a big one, dude. Like, and Twitch is even big. The funny thing is, like, Facebook's the big one that got all the screen time, but the one that happened to Twitch was absolute. Twitch basically got raw, like everything. They got everything. They took their databases, they took their entire source code base, their GitHub repositories, all the.
You can see what all the payouts were to every individual. Like it's insane.
Yeah, you can literally go look me up right now.
It's insane how much money Critical Role made. Is all I'm going to say.
No, you're welcome. You go look me up. I'm in there. Yeah. I'm actually in there. It shows my revenue from 2019 to 2021, and it's accurate.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, it's pre-tax, and it literally includes everything.
It's the payouts. It's what they sent.
Correct. Right? It's like what they reported to the IRS over those 2 years.
I see. Yeah. Oh, I thought I was going to tell you how much they made off it. I was like, shit, that's what I want.
No, it doesn't tell you that. It just says what they paid you. So, but
I know what they paid me.
You can figure out though what they made though.
Which assume at least for these big guys, top 10. Actually, the top 100 most likely. 70-30 split for like subs at least. When you get
70-30, they get 70% of it.
The other way around. Twitch will take the 30, and the creator.
So
gets
partners
70.
get 70-30, and affiliates get 50-50. I think.
Yeah.
So that payout is minus their 30%.
Correct.
I see.
It's crazy what some of these people made. Like I think Amarath makes like over 1.5 million a year or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I've never heard of are making more money than I've ever made in my life.
And what's funny though is I saw this. I didn't realize. I only just realized in the last yesterday or something that this was like a hack. Because I saw on Twitter.
Do we know how they got in?
I don't know.
Twitch is saying that it was a server misconfiguration issue, but Twitch was just doing bullshit damage control. There's no way they could have gained that level of access through just a server misconfiguration.
No, because like they're talking about what. Here's the post. The post says. The source code from almost 6,000 internal Git repositories, including the entirety of Twitch.tv with commit history going back to its early beginnings, mobile, desktop, and video game console Twitch clients, various proprietary SDKs and internal AWS services used by Twitch, every other property that Twitch owns, including IGDB and CurseForge, an unreleased Steam competitor from Amazon Game Studios.
That's wild.
Twitch SoC internal red teaming tools. I don't know exactly what that means, but
red teaming is when you have your internal guys attempt to get into your system as if they were.
You know what else they link to? The certificates. The signing certificates are out there, which means they can decrypt everything. The Twitch has to re-roll all their certificates now. That's a big
I'm sure
deal.
it's already been done.
I'm sure it has. Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that that's a hard thing to do, but man, it's what weirded me out, and I wanted to jump in on a part of the conversation prior was that I think David, you had mentioned like, oh well, we got to get paid or whatever, right? And what first clued me into this hack was like this huge thread about how like there seems to be this prevailing like thought or like this prevailing thought from consumers that artists or creators should suffer for their creations, and that they shouldn't not going to
be seeing a lot of art.
That's always been a thing. Like you should be
like,
doing it for free.
Pissed off. Yeah. They're getting pissed off that like guys, whatever, like Lyric or whatever, or Critical Role making 10 million. Come on. Like, what did you think when they have 75,000 fucking viewers a week?
Yeah. And they're doing the work. They're doing the work. They're doing like, yes, it's been done before. They're doing it well.
Honestly, I should point out too, that's just bits and subs. That does not include the tip button or sponsors or anything.
Oh, yeah. This is the thing is, can you imagine? I mean, it is insane to think about how much money they're making then.
Well, but even still, this is a drop in the bucket when you consider how much like Tom Cruise makes per movie,
or Twitch is making,
or I mean, like come on, but
owned by Amazon.
Like, why are you getting bent out of shape at the creator for wanting to like make a living off of their creation?
And a lot of these people were early to the market, right? A lot of these people have been around long enough. Like the freaking Critical Role guys were going around to conventions and doing this shit.
Yeah,
like they've done the legwork on this stuff.
Yeah,
this stuff, I think this illusion that it happens overnight to get to that kind of level is just, oh god, look, they're just having fun. They did well. No, they're fucking business people. That's what they did.
Well, the other problem why people don't talk about revenue, and I'm usually transparent about most of that stuff, but the thing that it causes a problem with is that everybody sees money differently depending on their geographic location.
Yeah.
Sure. Like literally, if you live in Dubai, $100,000 a year is working at McDonald's. If you live in, Arkansas, you can get a freaking house for like $400, everything paid, utilities and everything a month, right? You live in Seattle or San Francisco, you're not getting a 600 square foot apartment for under $4,000 a month or $5,000 a month. So so people look at it through the lens of wherever they're at, and I've noticed that too because I've talked openly about this in the past, and people are like, "My God, when you worked at Microsoft, you made $160,000 base pay. Oh my God, you were rich." And it's like, nope, we're not living in freaking Bellevue and Redmond near Seattle and at the Microsoft campus. It's like, no, that was like me living in like a 1-bedroom apartment, that was not a lot of money by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it was good pay, but it wasn't like I was rich. But if you talk to somebody who, makes $40,000 a year and lives on 60 acres of land and has a bass boat and stuff, they're like, man, if I had that kind of money, I'd be living in a skyscraper, But it's like, that's just it though, is the reason that the job pays so much is because of where you're at. That kind of gets blurred online.
Well, and the 1% that people talk about are people clearing over $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
That's the beginning level of the 1%.
Yeah.
That is so much fucking money.
Yeah.
There may be people who earn $400,000 a year, but they're not fucking bringing it home. That is clearing that's clearing almost $500,000.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how far up you've got to be in that level.
Yeah, that's not the average playing field by any stretch of the imagination.
Like how much of that 9 million on Critical Role is going towards agents and managers and marketing
employees?
Employees.
It's a media company.
Exactly.
It's a media company.
Business.
Like I had somebody the other day. So the other day, somebody was complaining about Linus because Linus seems to be like the benchmark for content creation, and they were complaining and saying,
"Why couldn't I do that?"
Yeah, no. But they're like, oh, he's such a sellout. He puts 2 ads in every video. That's so stupid. Like he's so greedy. And it's like, he has a giant studio, millions of dollars of equipment, 30 employees that probably make between $40,000 and $60,000 a year, some more. that he has to pay, plus pays their benefits, plus has to pay their a portion of their taxes, and they're
Canada.
Well, it is Canada. That's true. So he doesn't pay the health insurance.
No
but,
healthcare. Yeah.
but the thing is like when you factor it all out, it's like, 80% of the revenue that goes into that business or more is operational expenses.
And if it's not, good for him, because he's doing the work. Again,
Right.
you know what
I mean, yeah, it's like he's okay. It's okay for him to do good. I mean, he's built an empire. He's employing 30 people. It's like you got to factor that in, right?
Well, and if you're doing ads, he says when he's doing ads. Like,
he's actually really transparent. That's one thing I like.
Transparent. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I love Twit TV, the This Week in Tech, the Leo.
Oh, I like
guy.
those guys.
Yeah, he's got like he does his cheesy radio ads and he talks about them, and he makes it sound like it's all his stuff and he loves it, but it's part of the ad, and maybe he does love it. It doesn't matter. You're advertising at that point.
And if he does a sponsored video, that's the other thing. If he does a sponsored video, like LG, he did a sponsored video for LG where he's like, "Oh, this is their $30,000 micro LED, blah 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 blah."
Right.
And he goes through, and obviously it's going to be a positive review because it's a paid review. He even says at the beginning, "This is sponsored by LG, and they sent this TV, blah blah blah." But then in the next video, when he's talking about LG, he's like shitting all over OLED technology and burn-in and problems, and so it's like he doesn't feel like just because he's sponsored one video, he has to carry it. What's that?
I don't think you should be able to do reviews as an ad. I don't feel like that should be ever, because that's too confusing for me. Those blur the lines too much for me. I feel like you want to do an ad for LG, you do an ad for LG, but the idea of doing a review, being paid, I don't think there should be paid reviews. I don't, or not. I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed.
It needs to be presented as a commercial. It needs to be presented as a commercial that's like, these are not the views specifically.
Which he totally does.
Yeah.
But even if he presents it as a commercial and then does it as a review, I still feel it's misleading. Because I feel like that's what he's known for, is doing reviews.
Yeah.
Like maybe do an ad, like you do an ad where you go like, I've reviewed a lot of TVs and these guys have paid me a lot of money.
And this kind of goes back to what they do on TV, right? Like with commercials. It's like when a commercial comes on and it's, it's Terry Crews putting on, his Old Spice. Oh my God, this is the best deodorant ever. It's like, he's paid to do that, right? It's like, I'm pretty sure that, he probably has a better deodorant than Old Spice. I mean, it's like, not to say he doesn't use it, but I'm just saying it's he's being paid to do it. So it needs to be presented as a commercial and not as an endorsement. Like, I guess endorsement is where it gets weird. It's because paid endorsement is weird. What's that?
When you see things in the back of the videos, like there's like, there just happens to be a bag of chips in the back of every, that kind of stuff really bothers me, because I go like, that's like, but I suppose people are going to go like, well, there's a Meccano thing behind me, I suppose. But that's, again, that's my own stuff.
That's the thing you use though.
Yeah.
Like here, I'll even tell you about a brand deal that I turned down. Actually, a couple of these. I turned down a brand deal from Lexmark back in the day. Lexmark was going to pay me $50,000 to put a Lexmark printer, Lexmark inkjet printer, right here on my desk behind me. I didn't ever have to use it. I didn't have to review it. Nothing. Just for 1 year, I had to exclusively have that as my printer on my desk, visible in the background of my videos.
Beautifully in that Rent This Space.
So if you know any content creators that have a Lexmark printer just like chilling in the background that never gets used, they took that deal. But I turned it down. I turned that deal down. I turned down the deal where Nerdblock, or not Nerdblock,
Were you
Loot
not
Crate reached
allowed
out
to
me.
say that it was an ad?
Correct. I was not allowed to disclose that.
So you couldn't put a big sticker on it that says like, I bought this.
Nope. Nope. They said that it's a product placement deal, and this just has to be in the background of your videos. It has to be a part of your set for video creation and for live streaming at the time.
The problem is it works if you don't tell them.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Because people will ask about it and you'll be like, oh, that's a Lexmark printer back there. What model is it? I want to go get that. If you have it, it must be good. And
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so how is Rode working then? Because Rode is just doing good customer support and they're hoping to get attention because of that.
Yes, Rode is like, if we send this to him and he doesn't review it, it's no big deal because he's still going to use it. He asked for it.
And
he wants this product.
Talk about it.
He's still going to talk about it. And this is a way for them to not have any paperwork and no contracts and still get some buzz about it, good, bad, or otherwise. They're going to get some buzz about it. And so that works out really well in their favor. And there's no contract. So technically there's no rules being violated because I'm not hamstrung or being paid to do anything. This is a review. This is a review unit. Like if I don't like it, I can send it back to him or throw it in the garbage. It's
not against giving gifts, I guess.
Yeah. So,
but it can also backfire. So my friend got me that Rode thing because he had a relationship with Rode.
Yep.
That backfires because I had a bad experience with it.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think what the company's banking on is that they believe enough in their product that they don't believe you're going to have a bad experience. And if you do have a bad experience, it's going to be a quality control issue or something, and they're going to make it right.
Yeah.
So in there, so I think for them, even though there is a risk, and there is a risk. I mean, I've received products before that I've shit all over. The company sent it to me. They're like, "Why would you do that? We sent it to you for free." It's like, I never even asked you for it. You just sent it to me, and I was like, I'm gonna play with this.
I'm actually
if you
pissed
truly want to make a good product, you want to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So companies used to do that all the time. Not so much anymore, but yeah, they just send you shit in the mail and just expect a review.
But it's also the fantasy of it too, right? I mean, I freaking love getting sent stuff to play with.
Yeah, who doesn't, man? It's like Christmas, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it literally is Christmas. You're opening packages and like, yeah, and I'm obviously going to be in a better mood about it if they give it to me for free. But again, it's walking that line of finding out what and again, but I think that's the other thing about like finding this is about your authenticity, people.
Yeah.
The idea that if people know you enough to know that you're going to say, I got this, they sent me this. I love them because they sent me this. I feel like it's you're fine then. I mean, as long as there's a transparency there as to what's going on. And I'm a nerd. I fucking love toys.
Yeah. See, MindPod actually made. So I want to address.
Yeah.
I want to address MindPods in chat. He said, I wouldn't have turned down the Lexmark deal personally. It's not like you're endorsing the printer. It's just on your desk. No, that is endorsing the printer. That absolutely is, because I will tell you right now. You know what the most asked question I get on any live stream I do on Twitch is? Hey, what microphone is that? What microphone is that?
Yeah.
Hey, what mixer board is that in the background? Hey, who built your computer? Whenever they catch a glimpse of something in the background, they're like, hey, what is that? Oh, that keyboard. Every time I pan down, right? Yeah.
Really? You know what I get?
Yep. 3 of 5.
You have terrible cable management.
Oh yeah, when you turn the camera around and show the back of back of that PC, like, I had to bite my tongue. I'm
if you have something sitting on your desk, it's implied that you like it.
I'm not about to show you the back of my desk. So. Yeah. That's why
I'll show you the back of my hand, young man.
My room is completely still torn apart because I had to send back all the screens.
Avasti.
Yeah, all the OLEDs went back. I had to pack them all up after all that effort and tearing this whole room apart. I had to pack up all those OLED screens and ship them back to Costco.
No, seriously?
I wish I could have bought one from you.
Why? I missed that. What was it? Why?
So I've been wanting those OLED screens forever, and it turns out they have a bad auto dimming problem. They have a bad protection mechanism that prevents auto brightness limiting. Basically, if you make a full screen notepad, it drops the brightness to like 20%. And even in the service menu, when you disable those things, people have been seeing burn-in within 2 months just from using a desktop. So they're just not well suited to PCs at all. And people warned me about that, but I just, I wanted it for so long because they just look gorgeous. OLED looks gorgeous. I know. And I got it, but it too many roadblocks. I went through them for 3 months and messed with them, and I could not get them to a state where I felt like they'd last any longer than maybe a year. And I'd have to live with the problem with the auto dimming and stuff. So no, I sent them back, and now I'm going to go with a mini LED, what is that? A Neo QLED 65-inch instead of 3 separate 48 inches.
My son needs a monitor that's going to work with his 3080 Ti, because right now he's got one that's not able to keep up with it. So he should be getting the mini QLED.
Well, no, he doesn't need a 65-inch mini QLED. That's crazy shit I'm doing. No, if he wants just for a 3080, he just needs something that supports G-Sync and HDR10. That's it. Just find any screen that supports G-Sync and HDR10. You'll be fine.
I would also recommend looking at proper monitors. I think part of the issue is Jerry had TVs. He had televisions.
I can. Hey, hold on. I'm going to defend that.
I do think part of the issue is that those features are aimed at a different type of consumer that would not have had that same issue, or would not have looked at it as a negative issue.
Yeah, me, I'm half
if it were sitting up on their mantle.
Only for OLED though.
Yeah,
because I have used a TV or multiple TVs as my primary display since 2005, starting with the plasma. And I can tell you right now that they all have the same TN panels, the same VA panels. They have the same backlighting, the same everything. Even modern TVs with 120 hertz refresh rate, they all are the same panel. And all modern TVs now, you can disable all the internal processing and use them as a pass through, just like a monitor. So these specific LG TVs that I got, unfortunately, had some severe firmware problems that caused. But to be fair, LG also makes like a dedicated computer monitor that also has like a shitload of these problems with it too. It's just it's unfortunately a problem with OLED. Period.
I saw a crazy cool projector one that sits by the wall and just projects straight up, a laser projection.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's a laser projector of some sort or something.
Yeah, they're near field projectors. You put them like right up against the wall, and it puts like a perfect square. Yeah, those things are pretty cool.
Stunning. like I could not get over how beautiful the image was. I started wondering about it for myself.
Well, the thing is, you have to have somewhat low light in the room to get good contrast with a projector. And that's why I got away from projector. I used to be, dude, I was a projector fiend. And my bedroom had like 5 different projectors in it over 10 years. And then I finally retired it when TVs just got so big. I was like, wait, I can get a 74-inch QLED HDR screen that's 4K, whereas the comparable projector that in a dark room could even come close to it was like $10,000 or $12,000. And I could get the TV for $3,000. So at that point I transitioned over because I wanted those sweet black levels that you just don't get from a projector unless you turn out all the lights in the room. Yeah. So, and I like having a well-lit room when I'm doing stuff, especially like when I'm working on my computer and stuff. And that's another thing I didn't like about the OLEDs. The OLEDs don't get that bright. They hit like, they claim they do 800 nits. No way. Not in anybody, like really? Maybe 500. But a QLED screen with a mini LED backlight can hit like 2000. So it's like a light cannon. And when you have all that additional light to work with, the difference between dark and white is way wider. That gamut gets way wider the brighter the TV can get. And you can present that really brilliant bright with that really inky black in a well-lit room. And so that's why I just abandoned projectors. Not saying projectors are cool. I mean, if you have a light-controlled room in a theater and you have a 4K laser projector that's HDR, I mean, the image is freaking nuts. Like, you're not going to find a screen that big, you know, that isn't going to cost $300,000 and be segmented together, right? But for like in a bedroom or like a small theater where it's like, yeah, you can get TVs now up to what is like 84-inch is pretty common now. So you can get a rear projection 84-inch TV that supports HDR and all the bells and whistles for like $2,600. You're not going to do that with a projector setup. Hell, the screen will cost you more than that. Just the screen material.
Yeah, the screen was like $1,000 for these guys. They bought like some crazy screen that they had to like.
Yeah. Dude, I had an SI Black. I just gave it to I gave my whole projector setup to my buddy who I used to work with at Microsoft. He had he bought a house, his first house, and he had a theater room and he had nothing to put in it. So I was like, I switched to TV. I had my theater laying around. So I was like, here, just take it. You can have it. The
charity for all those poor people with empty theater rooms in their basements.
He made more than I did when he was at Microsoft. No, but I gave him my projector and I gave him the screen. It's SI Black Diamond 1.4 gain screen. It was a $3,700 screen when I bought it. It cost more than the projector. The projector was only, I want to say the projector was like $2,000 back when I bought it. The screen was almost twice as much as the projector for a piece of stretched fabric around a metal frame. It's insane. It's just, it's
well, the new materials that they've got that the blocks light that comes down.
Yep.
But reflects light that comes up. It's really smart.
Yeah, like every pixel on the screen. The reason why it was so expensive is because it's a 1.4 gain, which means the light that you shine at it actually comes back at you 1.4 times the gain that it goes in. You're like, how does the light amplify? That doesn't make any sense. But it's because projectors are rated based on diffusion. Like the light hits, then it diffuses, and then the brightness is measured from there. That's one. But when you have a screen that has a prism effect where the light hits it and it bounces perfectly back into your eye line and narrows the field of view for theater, you end up getting less light on the wall and less contamination on the ceiling because all that light's coming back at you. Now you're getting the full power of the projector.
I love what do you call it? The light cannon? I thought that was
light cannon. Yeah, no, it'd blind your ass. That thing was nuts. I want a light
cannon. Your charity thing reminded me of a thing Flanagan and I on Stargate used to joke about, the previously famous fund. So for people who are used to flying first class and flying around, who can no longer do that because they're no longer on a television series, we thought we should start a fund for actors so that when you were previously famous and used to a certain level of life, that you could then maintain that.
You know what you just reminded me of? Did you ever see the South Park episode where they were making fun of the MPAA, like going after people for downloading MP3 music?
No.
And it's like when you download a song, you know, you're hurting Kanye, and it shows Kanye like sitting next to his pool with like his 2 G9 jets, and it's like, because you downloaded that music, now Kanye can't get his 7th mansion, and he's only going to have 3 jets instead of the new Gulfstream 9 that just came out this year. And then they go down, it's like, and then Jennifer Lopez, you downloaded her music, and now she can only get 3 of the Rolls-Royce Phantoms and not the 4 to complete her connection. And they just go on and on and on, and it's like playing sad music like Sally Struthers, and it shows these like musicians, and they're like tears are coming down their eyes, stuff like, oh my god, if only you could have one more Olympic size swimming pool. And it was just
they're not making money off of music sales anyway.
I was going to say the companies are making it all anyways, right? I mean, the companies are making the money on that stuff anyways. It's nuts.
Everything's ads now. Everything that's like the machine that drives everything now is ad revenue. It's all product sales and the ad revenue that drives the people there to buy the products. It's like everything else
is fine as long as it's done well. Yeah, that's right. Buy your shirt. Yeah. We're like, what's so funny is, but like I'm happy to like like debate this forever. The reality is, if the revenue or the merchandise and all that kind of stuff works, then I'm fine with that, as long as everyone knows that that's what's happening.
That's all I'm saying too. As long as people are aware, just stop trying to fool people.
Yeah,
that's where I get mad, because you can't. How do you compete on it? That's why we have laws, right? Like how can you compete on a fair playing field if the least moral person has the most success because they're the least moral person?
Well, it's this NFT stuff too, which I'm seeing now too, where people are like, there's just these .com, you know, the Bitcoin millionaires are pouring money into NFTs to up the value of their NFTs and just making money hand over fist, while all these other idiots are.
It's like you saw the Beeple thing, right?
It's the same scam as fine art. It's the same scam.
Yeah,
same
true.
scam.
True. Yeah, the Beeple thing, was it the company that's partnered with him was one of the biggest purchasers of the Beeple thing, right?
The whole reason NFTs are even famous is he bought his own shit and basically billed it as making $60 million.
Else. Yeah. He had some other company or like something like I think that was just a blip of a headline or something that a company he works with or like partially owns or something like that is the one that actually bought it. But it's basically he bought it from himself.
Yeah, well, it's like the intelligent apes or the educated apes, whatever they're called. There was a company, they did a whole NFT launch. It was going to be this whole cool thing. Yeah. And then the guy who started it just basically they just disappeared.
Yeah, there was just a scandal recently.
Evil Ape. The guy's name was Evil Ape. I'm like, that doesn't give it away.
Foreshadowing.
I think the concept of NFT is sound. I like the idea.
Yeah,
I think we're in a weird sort of like growth stage where nobody really knows what to do with it, and so a lot of it is just weird art stuff and like.
Well, and as always, it's going to be scams as well at the top.
When you look at it through the lens of like metaverse or like CS:GO skins or things like in that sense, I like that. I like you know, like how cool would it be to I don't know, be able to have you buy a thing, an NFT, and it changes like your Twitter profile look somehow, like you're
they use them for that. A lot of them are using it for it.
And I think Twitter recently announced that they're building something into Twitter to like verify the profile picture thing that they're doing, that to show that you are the real owner of that profile picture, because a lot of people are like doing screenshots and shit and just putting it as their profile. There'll be some way of marking that this is a legit, like this person is the legitimate owner of.
That's so funny, because my screenshot is actually is a screenshot of myself in a show, so I would be labeled as false right away.
CBS is going to come after you for copyright.
MGM, they're really good. They're lawyers.
No, I think NFT actually has a lot of utility. I think beyond art, just even beyond art, I think it has a lot of utility.
Coins. Did I tell you I'm doing coins? I found a geocaching company in Canada that makes little coins that they and stuff. So we're gonna do some coins, and I've asked them to design it such that they can leave a little space, a little blank, and then I can use the CNC to write NFT or whatever numbers on it of some sort.
Oh, that's
if we want to do
that's true.
So
I like
and the entire idea of it is that someone gets something tangible that they could, like, it's merch for the Tech Bandits, but it also has, and I thought maybe, I don't know how to do this, and I'm scared to even say it because I don't want to mess with the kids
don't even say it. Just don't.
No. But is there some way that you could have, like, could the kids have a bit of the contract that could go towards education later? Like,
yeah, why not?
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many contractual things you could do there, or even I wondered about like just having money come in that could go towards other educational, programs or whatever.
Sure.
But it just, again, and the entire point of it is to have the kids playing with this kind of stuff, because this could be their future, this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yes, we're going to design these kind of fun coins, and I've got some little chevrons around the outside as a little tribute to Stargate, and
that'll be cool.
And then the idea is have a little block in there that people could potentially have. It could be a username, it could be whatever. I don't know.
I love it because like the NFT then acts as like a certificate of authenticity.
That's it
for your physical thing. Like yes, this is real because
200 mintings of these coins, and
the back of this has something, or there's something in it built in, or there's some special code, or see you later. Bye, David.
Oh, did he die?
I don't know. He says not visible, unknown user.
He'll come back in a second. he probably leaned on the keyboard,
but and I love the idea of it, of tying.
Why does it?
I don't know. You're touching something. That was weird.
I think I was.
I don't know. Something happened. There's like a
must have bumped the joystick again, David. Knock it off.
Touch nothing. Yeah. Gotta stop scratching myself.
No, one of my favorite coins is I actually have a Bitcoin that's NFC Bitcoin. It's actually a metallic Bitcoin that has a Bitcoin wallet embedded into it as an NFC. So you can you can hover your phone over it and it's like boom, it just enters your Bitcoin wallet. So you can be on any site in the blockchain and just scan it. It's kind of cool.
I want a hardware wallet
yeah,
too. I get so freaked out, and I screwed up on a bunch of I did transfer some stuff because Jane was going on and on about this the Mechaverse, not the metaverse, the Mechaverse. These
Mechaverse.
Oh yeah,
these mechs that you could buy, and she thought it was really cool. We get one for Baz, and I was like, they're $800.
Jesus,
$800. Well, guess what? We signed up for the raffle so that we could, if you got the right to spend that 0.2 Ethereum on it, they're already worth 4 Ethereum.
Serious?
We didn't get it. Yeah, we didn't get it. It was already some of them are going for like 4 Ethereum.
I haven't even logged into my crypto wallet in like 3 or 4 months.
It just feels wrong. I feel like if it's too good to be true, it can't be true. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It makes me very nervous, very, very nervous. But also all of the technology that they have around this stuff, like all of the wallets and stuff, they're all a little wonky. Like you get these weird error messages, and
yeah, the only ones that I trust right now are ones that are actually like paying their taxes and incorporated in the United States. Like I won't mess with Coinbase and Bittrex and Binance are the only 3 that I know that are fully incorporated.
I've heard good things about MetaMask.
I haven't used them. Pretty well for me. It's worked pretty well for me so far. I only signed up for it because I needed it for this Mechaverse thing.
Yeah.
But it all makes me I would much rather have like as you say, like a digital like
a little USB key or something that has it.
Well, actually, your safest bet is probably just to back it up to a hardware printout. Like put it in a safety deposit box. Like print out your decryption key, your private key, and store it in a safety deposit box.
They just have the passphrase now, right? As long as you got the passphrase, you're fine.
I got those 12 words or whatever.
Yeah, it depends on the crypto that you're using, right? I don't think can you do that with Bitcoin now, or do you? I think Bitcoin you still have to have the hash.
It depends on the wallet you go through.
Yeah, I mean the Coinbase wallet's pretty nice. The MetaMask wallet.
Well, just remember this is where it gets confusing. Okay, a lot of people get confused about this. If you are using Coinbase or you're using Bittrex, you do not own your wallet. You do, but your wallet is actually stored by them. They're the ones that hold the private key to your wallet, which means if they just disappear and their website goes offline, you can never access that money.
Which is why I went to the wallet and have it transferred into the wallet.
Yeah, so that's what you do is you create your own wallet and you store your own passphrase. You don't have to sync the blockchain. You just need to store your passphrase or your hash for that wallet. Print it out and put it in a safe place, and then you don't have to store anything on your computer. You don't have to have you don't have to sync up the blockchain and have your wallet stored on your computer unless you're transacting stuff. Then you do, but just to be able to access that wallet later on and to be able to transact things in and out of it, you'll be able to do that as long as you have that private hash. So that's what you need to store. If you ever lose that though, like if your house burns down, it's gone. It's gone. You'll never get it back.
But again, I suppose that's the same thing with a collectible, right? If you have a work of art and your house burns down, you just lost that too.
Yep.
At least in this way, you could, if there was a way to recover it, there's a way to recover it.
And it's easy to copy because you could put it on a USB thumb drive, you could put it on a hard drive, you could upload it to encrypted to OneDrive or whatever. You could put it in lots of places. So even if something did burn down, you still had access to it.
There was one I was looking into that I really liked, which was using which was doing mortgages, was backing the currency with mortgages. So you had, and they literally, I think they put up their first, they have 2 houses in this blockchain, and they have liens on the house for the amount of money that they've put into this stuff.
That sounds sketchy.
So,
that sounds dangerous.
That sounds really dangerous and sketch.
Like I thought it was kind of neat though, because you're it's less sketchy than having no backing, like on the
I suppose it's like a gold standard with real estate.
Exactly. And the real estate can fluctuate in price, which makes total sense. They're liens, they're not mortgages. So you have, when they sell the house, you would get that money, right? So it's not like you're gonna be foreclosed on.
So the price of your cryptocurrency is whatever the current value of the property is?
I don't entirely know. So naturally, I want to throw money at them.
But beware, dude. There's a million for every one legit crypto. There's a million scams.
Absolutely.
It's terrible.
No, absolutely, and that's my thing. Is like I feel like I need the 30-hour window. I need to spend like 30, or maybe it should be 50. Maybe like a 50-hour window of just spending it, concentrating on figuring all the stuff out, how they work, doing the research, looking through the chain, seeing how stuff works, before you invest. And I think people are just going like, what? That sounds cool. And that was, my wife and I had a big fight about this because she wanted to do this mecha thing. And I was like, I do not trust this. I'm sure it could be as legit as you want. I'm like, I feel like you're buying at the top of the freaking market right now.
Yeah, treat it like gambling too. That's the other thing with crypto is treat it like gambling.
I like to look at it more in a sense of like forex, right? It's a currency. It's be no different than trading
stock market, right? But I consider that gambling too, honestly.
It's all gambling. I mean, stocks and bonds, they're all gambling to some extent, anyways, too. Yeah.
The thing is,
with other tech news before I bail, is there anything I should?
Let me see here. Was there anything? Oh, we talked about. Hold on here. Let me see.
We talked a little bit about Twitch.
Oh, talking about the crypto. We are talking about crypto, so we could just segue real quick into the gambling epidemic that's going on right now.
Gambling. So like honest gambling, like poker status kind of gambling.
Yeah, there's a huge run of these offshore gambling. Remember the old like poker, like online poker and stuff like that, and then it all got outlawed. Well, now it's making a comeback as these offshore gambling casinos that take crypto, so that there's no physical money involved, right? It's all crypto,
right?
And because they're banned in the United States, you have to use a VPN to get to them. But there's a million creators, like big creators, even the biggest creator right now on Twitch. God damn, I can't remember his name right now, but he even promotes this, and it's called Who Bets or Who. Somebody else say in chat. Like
that sounds familiar.
Rubets, is it Rubets or something like that? And it's CoffeeZilla is a guy he's breaking the story on it right now, and there's a bunch of other people jumping on it. But there's these huge creators like Steve Will Do It and these other vloggers and stuff that are heavily promoting this stuff, and they're finding out that these guys are not putting in their money, they're not doing high stakes gambling. It's all scam. It's just like the Loot Crate thing all over again, where it's just they're basically selling their audience on going to these sites and signing up with their affiliates, funding these accounts and losing all their money. And so these creators get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for promoting this stuff. And they've got like a stranglehold on it. It's like some of the top streamers on Twitch right now are just guys that are spamming slot machines, and they're winning, like they're putting in like $60 and winning like 20,000 like every live stream. And so their fan base is like, they see this excitement and they're signing up with their affiliate link, and then they lose all their money, and then they're like really mad about it, or they'll win and they can't get their money out. Because these offshore companies say, oh, you're not allowed to gamble from the United States, and they don't verify you when you're putting crypto in and you're gambling. But if you win, then they need to verify you, and if you're in the United States, they won't pay you out and they just keep your money.
Oh, that's interesting. Or just wait until they've got the money to pay you. That's
exactly. It's a huge scam that's going on right now, and a bunch of these internet sleuths, if you will, are starting to dig in and like get to the bottom of it. But it's super bad because like the majority of these people that are gambling are kids. It's just like the CSGO skin thing all over again, right?
Dude, where the kids are doing the crypto stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Like, so a bunch of Baz's friends are all like, I don't know where they're, I mean, all they have to do is link their parents' Visa.
Dude, you can turn anything into crypto. You can buy crypto with PayPal. You can buy crypto with like game points. You can buy crypto selling skins. Like if you have a CSGO skin, you can sell it to some dude for Bitcoin and then use the Bitcoin to go gamble. It's
Baz wants me to sell my Fortnite skin, my Fortnite's, because I have the original, because we started early, right? So I've got the original Mako glider or whatever it is, and he says that's worth a fortune.
Yeah,
the problem is, I was like, sell it, dude. Fine, it's university.
And because of COVID and everybody like being at home and stuff, there's a lot of desperate people out there that they're turning to gambling, you know, as like a last ditch effort to try to get ahead, right? And spending so but these guys are enabling it, like these big YouTubers. But the problem is just like we talked about earlier with truth in advertising, right? And being honest, they're literally doing these live streams and saying, listen, I just put $100,000, you know, like imagine if Mr. Beast was like, I put $1 million into my Rubet account and he streams for hours doing it. Well, that money doesn't exist. They went and checked the crypto wallets that were shown on screen, and there was $0 in them. They were basically just putting fake money into the back end and making it look like these guys were winning and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, so that it
was just numbers.
Yeah. And some of these guys have like 40,000 live viewers at a given time, and they'll win like a jackpot of like $700,000 and get up and be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini or whatever. But it's not real money. They got paid a flat rate of like $250,000 or whatever to promote this to their audience. And so it's just super, super skeezy and dishonest. And it's another one of those examples of like these guys they keep trying to, how do you get more money? How do you keep up that appearance? How do you keep up that lifestyle of making these videos where you're flying around the planes and buying $1 million watches and cars and stuff? And so they become more and more receptive to these dirty tactics because that's what makes the most money. And so gambling is like the new thing for that.
I feel like for a while there, YouTube was trying to go legit. Like they were trying to do their own shows and all this kind of stuff. And which they failed miserably at.
They did. For
the most part. And then, so they've sort of gone like, okay, fine. Sketch works, but we'll just go with totally sketch stuff. We'll just, whatever. If people want to watch people in their basement, pretending to win stuff on gambling sites, then go for it.
Yeah. Remember Logan Paul got popped for that too. What was it, Logan or was it Jake? I can't remember. Which one was it? They got popped for doing the loot crate stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
Where he was in there and he did the YouTube video, got millions of views. A bunch of them did it. They all got popped in this, I think there was even lawsuits involved where they were like, oh my God, look, I just rolled the thing. Oh, I just won a loot crate. Oh my God, it's got Nike Air Force Ones that are worth $10,000. Oh my God. And every time they did it, they'd buy a $50 box. And then they would get $1,000 worth of stuff, and he kept looking at the camera, going, "Dude, you can't lose."
Did they know that? Or were they literally just set up? I mean, were they just so?
They knew it. No, that they were 100% in on it. Know it. The company literally just funded their account with thousands of dollars so that they could do a live stream of just bet. It wasn't their money, and they paid them on top of that and let them keep all the merchandise that they won. And then what happened is all the people that went there and did it, the people that won boxes, it was all counterfeit goods. It was like Logan got the real stuff, but they were getting knockoff iPads and knockoff phones and fake Supreme merchandise that was made in Taiwan and China. And
the iPad.
Exactly. Yeah. And so that came down on them like a ton of bricks. And then of course, when he got caught, Logan, I think it was Logan, he's like, yeah, I feel bad. I'm sorry guys. I didn't really know, he tried to play it off like he didn't know, but no, he absolutely knew he was in on it. And they keep doing shit like that. That's the thing is they go from one scam to another
when they've been caught.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's amazing how remorseful people are when they realize they're not going to get away with stuff.
Yeah, but the thing is look how much they're paying them though. Like how profitable do you have to be as an online casino to be able to afford to pay Steve Will Do It or whatever $250,000 a month? Because he even said he fessed up on stream and said how much he makes.
That's it.
$250,000 a month to promote but plus they fund him. He doesn't have to put any money in. All his gambling that he's doing is funded by them, and they pay for his house and they pay for his lifestyle and put him up in a penthouse and all this shit. They pay for all of it.
Works. So it just works.
It absolutely works. Yeah. And not just him. There's a whole team of 20 top influencers on Twitch that are all pushing this Roulette shit, and they're over on YouTube, and it's all these guys that are just directly funded by this company. And it's crazy the amount of money. I mean, the amount of money that they must be making to be able to have that kind of influencer budget is insane. It's just whenever I get a contact from I may even start disclosing some of these emails. I have to look at the legality of it, but I get marketing companies that send me mail that shows me what the top ad inserts are right now. You know what the top ad inserts always are for literally for over a year now?
What is an ad insert?
So ad insert is at the beginning of my video, be like, hey, today's video is sponsored by Raycon. Hey guys, I love my Raycons. You should go buy them. Use my code. I negotiated shrewdly to get this deal. It's no, they all have the same deal. There's no negotiation.
Yeah.
So basically the top three that are always on there that I've seen for at least the last year, top one, Raid Shadow Legends. Because Raid Shadow Legends is a pay to win game. It pulls you in, you start playing, and then it gets to the point where you just can't get anywhere, and all your friends are fucking blowing by, and you have to pump money into it. It's
Although
inevitable.
The kids laugh about it. My Tech Bandits all go ooh, Raid Shadow Legends. They joke about it.
It's a meme. It's literally a meme, but it's so profitable that they are the top paying ad right now. If I do a Raid Shadow Legends ad, they will pay me between $8,000 and $10,000 for a 30-second insert into my video.
Wow. And you have to record it yourself? You would have to go.
Yeah, I would literally just be like, hey, today, guys, we're going to be reviewing this Ultimaker. But first, our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Oh, my God, they're great. I play them all the time, even when I'm on the shitter and I'm having me time and in the shower. You guys have to go use this link.
If you doing it right now, people.
Yeah, and I have to tell them that I'm going to play with them in the game, even though I don't have to. They'll do it for me. Like Raid Shadow Legends will actually put a person on under my name, and they'll go play with my audience to make it seem like they're playing with me. Yeah. Fucking Diesel Brothers do it all the time. Do you think the Diesel Brothers know how to fucking play a mobile game? No. Diesel Brothers don't know what a fucking mobile game is. Like, they get on there every day like, man, I play this all the time, man. Like, oh man, when I'm not building trucks, I'm on Raid Shadow Legends. Oh my God, check out my champion. Because they all have to say you have to hit the talking points in the contract. But they pay the highest. They're the highest paid. Next one in line below that is Raycon. Raycon earbuds, because
those earbuds,
because they pay. If you sell a pair for $80, you get your commission's like $30. It's the highest affiliate commission of any good ever sold. So if you sell a pair, if you can get your audience to buy a pair for 20% off, they will give you $30 for every single person you sell it to. So if you have an audience and you sell, 100 of them, a month or whatever, that's a huge payday. That's massive.
They must be making them for nothing.
They are. They're garbage. They're literally a $20 earbud that you can buy on Amazon that has the same exact internals. So they're just rebranded because they have the Ray J logo on them or whatever. So they're garbage. But yeah, they the highest affiliate commission there is. And not only that, they'll also pay you for the ad insert plus an affiliate commission. So you could get, $2,500 to $5,000 to do the ad insert. And then every sale after that, you get a percentage of, or you can just take the higher percentage and not take a payout. The other one is Omaze. The fucking charity where it's like, oh, Omaze, and we're going to give money to, the Veterans Foundation of America, and you could win this car in this thing of cash, $10 per entry. Guys.
Yeah.
So Omaze is a scam. Omaze is a scam. They basically created a 503c. They created their own 503c that they only put 15% of the money into. The rest of it is all a for-profit lottery organization. So when you're paying, when you see Cletus McFarlane going, oh, and today we're sponsored by Omaze, and you could win this car and this bag of money, and all the proceeds from this go to fucking Wounded Warriors. No, you go look, and the Wounded Warriors got like 10% after taxes, and the rest of it went to the company and to the influencers. So when you buy a ticket for $10, $8 of that's just basically going to Cleater in the company, the Omaze company.
It's one of the reasons why I like Doctors Without Borders is that so much of their money goes to the actual field work.
Right.
It's not like a tiny portion goes to promotion and administration. It's one of the most important. It's one of the things that drives me crazy about charities. You can make a lot of money doing charities.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. And that's the thing is everybody always hears, oh, not for profit. Like this is a 503c not for profit. That doesn't mean that the people that work for the charity don't make a profit.
No, and they should get paid. The reality is you should get paid.
Fair enough.
You're working for any company, but at the same time, I debated going not for profit or charity for Tech Bandits, and then I realized first off, there's no way I could work with a board of directors. No way.
That'd be hard.
With my ADHD, you kidding? I'd be changing directions every 2 hours. You have to have a meeting every 15 minutes. And so I just decided, you know what? No, I'm just going to be part of my corporation, and I spend the money on the stuff I want to, and that's it. But it's with the idea of putting it towards stuff that's of use to kids. So
yeah.
But again, in a way, you could raise. In a way, I talked to a woman who ran a charity here. Let's Talk Science, and she's got an amazing charity that goes across Canada. But she was saying that there's nothing wrong with a for-profit corporation if you're going to then put the profit towards the things you want to put it towards. If it's towards stuff that's of interest and importance to you, you should do that because that's that's part of the business stuff.
But the thing is, if you are a charity, if you are advertised as a charity, you should, the only money that doesn't make it to the actual charitable cause should be operating costs.
And should be available for people to see.
Absolutely. And those operating costs need to be actually justified, meaning that if you're the person that's doing the books and that job normally pays $60,000 a year, you're making $60,000 a year doing the books. But with Omaze, it's not like that. It's like the CEO of Omaze and the board of directors or whatever take a huge percentage of the profit.
Right.
So the better they do, the more money they get. And it's like, that's not a charity. And the way they get away with it is because they founded a 503c, and a portion of it, a big enough portion, like 10% apparently, is a big enough portion that they give to that they can basically say in their advertising that they are donating to a charity. But that's where they kind of mess with the wording, because it's like they're a for-profit corporation, and everyone
that donates to the charity and then gets the freaking tax
and they get the tax write-off too. Yep.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
And the thing is, it's like so the influencers themselves, which you're required to say if you do an Omaze spot, is that we're partnering with this amazing charity. Wrong, it's not a charity; it's a for-profit corporation, and you could have a chance to win this, and the proceeds from this go to this charity, but they don't say the percentage. So they make it sound like if you buy a ticket for $10, that the majority of that's going towards the charity, and you could win something, right? So that's the lottery aspect of it, or the incentive. But you're buying those $10 spots because you're like helping out Wounded Warriors or cancer for kids.
Yeah, there's still money going towards them. But
it's not. But it's a very, very small portion of it. So the incentive that's getting these people to dump this insane amount of money into this charity None of it's getting to its source, like hardly any of it. And more of the money goes to the influencers. Just think about that for a second. Like, imagine if I had a charity where it was like, hey guys, for every $10 you give me, we're going to give some of that to charity, and I give $1 to charity. It's like, how is that fair that I'm taking $9 and giving $1 to the charity while using the charity is the reason why you should give the money in the first place? It's very misleading.
That's how the charity stuff works, isn't it? I guess there are some people who are going to want to donate their time. There are some people who are going to want to get paid for it.
Correct.
Somewhere in between. Again, as long as you're clear about this stuff, I think that's I come up against this a lot with conventions where they say like, oh, the money's all going to charity. I was like, okay, what charity?
Yeah, be clear. I want percentage. Exactly.
Like you can't just say it's for charity. That's like
it was a Salvation Army or something that had a big how to do with it. Was it Salvation Army? I think it was Salvation Army or something like that, where they found out, this is years and years and years ago. I remember I was younger. There was like a big scandal where it was like they found out that like the donations, because you donate to the Salvation Army and then they sell that, and then the money from that goes to like alcohol rehabilitation programs and poor people and stuff like that. And they found out that it was like 2% of like all the proceeds from all the sales of all the stores and everything actually went to help people, and the rest of it basically just went to pay the board of directors as bonuses.
Oh my God.
So everybody was donating their stuff thinking that it's going to help like the homeless and everything, and you were literally just creating a garage sale or an estate sale for these guys to sell all your shit and keep the money.
Oh my God,
it's crazy. Well, I know you got to get going, David. Sorry,
sorry, bro. No, I find this stuff fascinating, and it's just great to be hanging out with a couple of married guys.
I missed you, bro. I missed you. Like this is. I've been. Last 2 weeks sucked so bad, so it's nice to be back.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know how lame I was. Hi, Barnacules. Are you around?
It's fine for me.
Yeah, you got Dr. Rodney McKay from Stargate like begging to stream. Come on, bro. Where are you at? Come on,
Saturday morning. Just wondering if we're going to be going ahead with Tech Talk today.
Well, I'll tell you what, David. I want to come and hang out with you on your turf one of these days, man. If you're doing like a Tech Bandit thing or something, I can clean up my language a little bit and come on over there. Yeah,
the Tech Bandit stuff is just such chaos. We should just do a chat sometime. We'll just have every so often I do little chitty chats, which are just for. So then we could just talk about all the stuff.
Yeah, anytime you want, man.
And you're also welcome to join us for Tech Bandits as well. It's just that, as I say, it's usually me just like at migraine levels of audio with the various kids trying to get
Oh, dude, I've tuned into a couple of them, and it's fun. It's like fun chaos.
You've
really
got to definitely be in the right state of mind, shall we say?
I like chaos. I like chaos.
I embrace chaos. I was born in it. All right,
born in the chaos.
See you, lads. We'll see you next week.
Take it easy, David. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
Cheers. Lots of love.
All right, peace out, bro.
Bye-bye.
All right, before we wrap up today, I got to go through all these super chats because we had a lot of support this stream that we were just on such a tangent that I didn't want to interrupt the flow. So I want to go through and thank all these people that showed support during the stream. We got Lewis 69420. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He said Google review money, lol, and hey, love you guys. Okay, I don't know what the context of that was 3 hours ago, so I think we lost context on that one. Sorry.
Right at the beginning.
Suicide to Recovery, thank you for your subscribe to the channel. Meat Puppet 007, thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, congratulations to the one who got married. That's our boy AuxxZillary. Got married. He said, may it be a long and fruitful marriage. I know it will be.
Might as well.
I think
I'm in it to win it. So
I mean, look at that guy. He's such a fucking like chill pushover dude. Like he ain't going nowhere, dude.
Hey man, happy wife, happy life.
That is good husband material. I can tell because I'm not. So
one of my favorite quotes is from Robert Heinlein through a character Lazarus Long. Love is that subjective condition in which the happiness and well-being of another person is essential to your own. And
true words have never been spoken. Happy. No, that is a very true thing. Like anybody that's been in a serious relationship, not to diminish, like, you have flings and then flings can evolve. And, it's like when you get to the point where you can literally just take a dump in front of somebody with like the door open and have a conversation about what you're eating for dinner that night. It's like a whole new level. That's I don't know if you're quite there yet, Ox, but it's coming. You will achieve that level. And once you get to that level, you start to realize that person is less a different person and more just an extension of yourself.
Yeah.
Like when they're not around, you just don't feel right. You don't feel, I mean, it's corny, but you don't feel complete. Yeah. You don't. And I feel exactly like that. Like, Miss Barnacules, we've been together we've known each other since I was 13 and we've been together since I was 19. And she's the only woman I've ever been with. like ever. And I am so down and cool with that. It's weird because I've had people like talk to me about it. It's like really nothing happened. No, I don't. I found the perfect one. She is literally my soulmate, my best friend. There is nothing I could tell her. I could literally tell her anything, the worst thing on planet Earth that could possibly happen. I can confide in her to stand by my side. She might kick me in the nuts, but she'll stand by my side.
Yeah.
And there's not to find somebody like that, like somebody who is literally, truly ride or die in unconditional love. Dude, there's nothing like that. I don't care. There's no freaking sexual experience you'll have in your entire life that will even come close to comparing to like what that's like to have another human being that you can 100% confide in, that no matter what will never, like, for a fact, it's not your guessing. I know that I will die like with her by my side holding my hand. I know it. I just know it, and it's an amazing thing. So I'm glad that you got that. And plus, your lady's got some good kiddos. I know you get on.
They're awesome.
So now you've got some daughters, man,
and that's exciting too. Like
I know, dude. Like, dude, it's so awesome. You got to just skip the whole baby phase. Fuck you. But seriously. Oh wait, what?
One diaper my whole life.
Really?
And it wasn't even like my kid or anything. It was the boss's kid.
So I got to ask. I'm sorry. I have to be nosy and ask, but are you guys planning on extending the family and all? You done?
Yep.
You just going to take the L and be like, I'm not doing the baby thing. I'm just going to take the already grown ass kids.
I don't even see it as an L. Yeah, no, I'm totally fine.
Actually, I'll just be a jealous dude. Like the baby phase is a hell of a journey. It's a hell of a journey. It really is. So I'm glad that you got to warp past that.
Right? No, instead I get to jump in with both feet into like preteen and teenager stuff.
Yeah. Actually, that's some undiscovered country right there, man, because I know for a fact, because I have friends that have daughters too. Raising daughters is a lot different than raising sons. It is just the whole like maturity landscape and the direction that they go and the whole hormone it's all different.
Oh yeah.
It's like I've asked so many people, and I'm sorry if this is like making anybody like triggered, but everybody I know that has boys said that the boys were easier later on than the girls, but the girls were way easier early on than the boys. It's almost like they switch sides.
I believe it.
Like even my wife's friend, she has 2 boys and 3 girls, and it's like the girls were like really super easy going, and like the boys were just balls to the walls, just fucking crazy. And then as they got older, it like they traded sides. The boys actually calmed way the hell down. And the girls were like just all over the place, like, couldn't make up their minds, like which direction they wanted to go. But it was cool to watch. It's neat to see the dynamic and like how kids, especially, how old are your daughters?
11 and 15.
11 and 15. Yeah, see, that's going to be right on that precipice where you're going to see their personalities just completely like evolve and change.
I've seen it with the teenager, and now just starting in a big way with the intern.
Yeah, I've noticed it with Xander too. It's so freaking weird because Xander is like he's almost 12, and he's just on. I mean, he's literally just on the cusp of, like, you can tell he's starting to get like some little bumps under his arms and stuff, like where the pores are starting to open up, and it's like I know he's almost there, but I can already see his attitude like completely changing. He's getting way sassier.
Oh yeah,
he's really quick on the wit too. That's another thing that, like, he says shit that just every day blows my mind. Like shit that I didn't teach him to say, things I did, different ways of thinking, making up jokes and stuff. It's just crazy to see that come on. As the brain evolves. It's like you see it as like a baby, a toddler. They get a little older, and then it's like they start hitting their teenage, and you're like, whoa. It's a trip. It's an absolute trip. Just seriously have kids, guys. It's fun. Hey, Alan VR, thank you for the 54-cent super chat. He said free Amarath. Wait, what happened to Amarath? Did she get banned for like the 8,000th time?
Who cares?
Dude, they're never gonna ban her permanently. She literally makes Twitch millions of dollars. Like, she's like what, top 20 or something on there.
Whatever.
Hey, sex sells, man. Run what you're brung. I don't care. That one Evan Goku, thank you the $5 super chat. He said, thanks for making my 2-mile walk to work not as dreadful as it usually is. That's awesome. See, that's awesome. I love that you can just walk along and listen to that. That makes me happy.
Have a good day at work.
Totally. Bitchy Poo. Love that name. Bitchy Poo, thank you for the $10 super chat. That is wildly generous. Said, hey guys, great to see you. PDX Land is happening in November. Are you going? Probably not.
I don't think so.
I would love to go. PDX Land, just to be clear though, PDX Land is one of my favorite events that I've ever attended.
I love it to death.
It's number one. Like it's that, and like probably LTX Expo was probably like the second most fun that I have. But PDX Land is my go-to event. The reason that I'm not attending is because I've had so many health struggles this year, and I've completely destroyed my immune system with antibiotics and steroids, and I've had some I have to be really, really careful, and that's not going to happen in like a month. So I need time for that all to recover. But my goal is to hopefully next year, 6 months down the road, have my, get my booster shot for my COVID and everything like that. And then once I feel, and then the biggest one is my son needs to be vaccinated. As soon as they approve vaccination for him, because he's 11, he's 1 year younger than what they're allowing. So once the Pfizer vaccine is approved, which they're working on it right now, it should be like a month. Once it's approved and he has his shot and I have my booster, then yeah, I'm going to rejoin the world, and you'll see me back out there doing events and stuff like that, provided that I can get my back to hold up. I got to go get another series of injections. Mo A, thank you for the $2.74 super chat. Said just a test. Hey, we like those kind of tests.
Yeah.
John O'Rourke, thank you for the $2 super chat.
I don't think it worked.
Oh, it didn't work. Yeah, can you try again? John O'Rourke, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said, I like money. Well, we do too. Savage Scientist. Yeah, thank you. Savage Scientist Dev. That's a great name. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He said, tell the devil no deal. Lol. That was
get behind me, Satan.
Yeah, get out of here, Satan. What is it? The power of the flying spaghetti monster compels you. Me Puppet 007, thank you for the $5 super chat. Man, you guys are awesome. So whatever happened to common sense being common? Able to agree to disagree, agreeable. You know what? Go ahead, take that one.
So I have found that what it tends to occur is not setting the proper expectation when conversing with others. You have to go into certain with controversial topic discussions with the intent that you are not changing that person's mind. That tends to be where arguments and civil conversation, arguments happen, civil conversation falls apart, is when there is usually an unconscious expectation that you are going to change the other person's mind, one side or the other. If you go into it knowing I'm not going to change my mind, they're not going to change their mind, then you can just, you will eventually reach an impasse because nobody's going to move. But you, at least from your side of things, you can go into the conversation knowing that you're not going to budge this person, and you will get to a certain point where you've said everything that you can, and that's it. And you will leave the conversation mutually disappointed, equally and mutually disappointed. And that's okay. You don't have to win, but that's where things tend to fall apart, is one of you is trying, one or both of you is really trying to pull the other person onto your path, and people don't like that.
And I have a tendency to do that. I can be honest about that. I do have a tendency to do that, and I reflect back on it. You know what though?
It's a sales technique. It is actually. I found those sorts of conversational like attitudes. It did come from a sales class that I took, but it applies so much to any sort of conversation you have with anyone.
Well, I mean, you're literally selling somebody on something, and that's quite literally, you're selling them on a point of view. Yeah. You know what? You actually did make a good point there that I think I'm going to take something away from that. And that is, if you go into a conversation with somebody, like you said, with the intent on trying to change their mind, it's not going to happen. I've seen it a million times. Sure. It's very rare. And if it does happen, it's not because you made a better argument. It's because they were already neutral and they were looking to go one way or the other. It's still their decision. So I think the expectation is when you go into an argument is like, or not even an argument, just a conversation is just make sure that the things that you disagree on are things that you're okay disagreeing on. Right. Yeah. It's like if you're going into somebody, it's like if it's a deal breaker that they're like a part of some cult that like kills and murders people or whatever, or you're a vegan and you can't stand somebody eating meat or whatever the reason is, if it's something that you cannot agree to disagree on, then it's a futile effort to go into that. And that's something that I have a tendency to do is I'll walk into the lion's den, so to speak, on a topic where it's like, I know I'm not going to change the people's mind on it, but it's something that I'm hugely passionate and not willing to compromise on because it's something that involves like, people's rights, for instance. But it never comes in. No good ever comes of it. Rarely. No. It's just go in there and you just waste a bunch of time, get everybody all riled up, and everybody's like, freaking out and blowing up. And it's like, your time would be better spent seeking out people that either want to have a conversation with the intention of just learning something new, or somebody that wants to have a conversation that's in no way related to the thing that you disagree on, but you're okay disagreeing on it. Yeah. And I think that that's a good takeaway.
like a lot of times politics.
That's the big one. That's a big one.
I'm buddies with neighbors or whatever, or brother-in-law or whatever. I don't agree with their or rather I have a different viewpoint on certain topics. That doesn't make someone a bad person immediately, right? Because I'm more of an action type of person than necessarily thought. And I know that some of these people that I hang out with and I'm vaguely buddies with, they are at the core good people. Okay, they want to take care of their families, they want to protect them, they want to make good money, they don't want them to be sick or repressed or oppressed or anything of that sort of thing.
Yep.
They have a different idea of how to accomplish those goals, right? And in the end, as long as like you're not like hurting other people and there are certain rules that I apply to my life that tend to fit regardless of your, like, we can get to the same end in different ways. I'm not going to follow your path. That seems weird to me and I don't agree with how you're going to get there. But again, it doesn't make you a horrible or evil person. And sometimes, like you said, there are certain things that I will not accept. And so then, whatever. But like, I don't honestly, like, if you voted for Trump, that doesn't make you a bad person. I don't care. Not really. I'm going to take you as you are in your day to day. Like, cause like, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just,
see, for
weird.
Me, it gets, it does. It gets weird because there's some people I don't treat the same as other people. It's like, for me, it's the intent behind it.
Yeah.
It's like if you literally voted for him because there's a policy that you specifically need to survive, that he's the only one that's getting behind, right, wrong, or otherwise, I don't believe he's going to do it, but if you believe that he's going to do it and it has nothing to, and you're still condemning him for all the bad shit he does, then I can agree to disagree on that specific element. But it's depending on the person, you can tell, like, did they vote for him? Why did they vote for him? That's what's important to me. Right. It's like they voted for him because it was the policy or it was strictly because of something that benefits them or their family or something like that. Okay, I can actually parlay on that one. But when it's when the reason for voting for him is because they hurt other people and because they just fucking lay a path of destruction and you like that because it makes you feel superior and it makes you feel like you're a part of that pisses me off.
There's nuance and fuzziness to it. And oftentimes I don't want to dig into it. I'm not that close to these people enough to care to dig deep into it. As long as we can have a good time when we're hanging out and partying and stuff, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's the difference between like a close friend and the person that's fun to have a drink with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are fun to have a drink with where you don't have to go deep, right? It's
that's it. Like I've talked about circles of influence, right? The people who are within my smallest circle, they are the ones that matter, and their opinions and actions and intents are what I care about.
Yeah.
Beyond that, you're not affecting my life or the life of those who are within that close circle. So like, you don't matter. You can believe what you want to believe. Don't get in my way. Don't shit in my sandbox.
Yep. For me, it's the extreme. It's like the extreme. Like, obviously, I'm not going to sit down with somebody who's like, wearing a swastika and Heil Hitler and thinks that, all the Jews should be exterminated. Right. I'm not going to be like, oh, let's agree to disagree on that. You have funny jokes and good beer. Like, no, I'm not going to sit down with a Klansman and be like, hey, we disagree on, these black folk. But no, I'm not going to do that because that's too big of a gap. Right.
Right.
But obviously, if somebody just has like some different political views or even religious, like I have a lot of friends that are Christians and stuff like that, even though I'm an atheist. Right. It's like we can talk about that stuff when we go down. I'm not going to change their mind. I mean, I understand how religion works. I was raised Christian too, so I understand it. And it's like, so I get it. As long as they're a good person and I know that their intentions are good. As long as I know their intentions, regardless of whether the action, they can be tripping over shit and breaking everything. As long as I know their intentions are good, like in their heart, in the moment that they're making those decisions, they genuinely think that they're doing right. Like good, not thinking a bad thing is right, but just genuinely they think they're doing the right thing. Then I can forgive a lot of that, and I can be like, you know what? Hey, it's okay to agree to disagree on that. We'll both learn over time, and one way or another, we'll figure it out. But it's just the bad stuff. It's just for me, it's the bad stuff, and people get really put off on this binary thing where it's like if you're against one thing, you're for another thing. you know, and it's like that also pisses me off because like everybody's like, oh man, I can't believe you support Biden. It's like, dude, he fucked up Afghanistan. Like I fucking ripped him up one side and down the other on Twitter. It's like, but they don't look, they just assume, right? They're like, oh, because you railed against him, you must fully support the other one, or because you voted for him, you must support everything he's doing. It's like, no, that's not how that works. That's not how it works for anybody.
It kind of goes back to that like social media sort of thing. There's so little nuance.
Yeah,
they don't take the full context into account.
Exactly. And there's certain hot buttons for me. Like the vaccination thing is a huge hot button for me just because, you know, I've literally lost friends. You know, it's like I've watched people die from this that didn't get vaccinated and still be alive if they did. And so it gives me a little bit of a unique perspective. So when I see people going around and spreading misinformation, like, oh, vaccines are a hoax and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, you know, this is the government's taking over. And I'm just like, my God, like you do not even understand the damage that you're doing. This isn't just you sharing an opinion. You're basically feeding into this machine that's validating these people's like really dangerous view, not just for other people, but for them. And it's like, I just want everybody to be safe. Like that at the end of the day, that's what I want more than anything. And I understand people's concerns. I understand people, you know, are afraid of the unknown. I totally get that. But it's like when you are presented with a situation where your options are to save as many lives as humanly possible, or just let something that has happened before run its course that wiped out like a third of the population. Let's just try to go with the science. That's all I'm saying. Just try. You can, if you want to think the US is trying to put nanobots into you, that's fine. That's fine. You can think that, but just at least do the research to realize that we weren't the smart ones that came up with the vaccine. That was fucking Germans and Swedish people, for crying out loud.
I mean, that's a whole other thing. We can spend 3 hours on that.
That's true. I guess what I'm saying is just please consider, if you're afraid of getting vaccinated, please just do more research. That's all I'm asking. I'm not telling you one way or another. Just do more research. And try to come to the decision that you think is best to protect you and your family without making it political, without making it religious. Just try to do what's best for you and your family.
It's like the pinned tweet I have on my thing, right? Do what makes you happy. Do your best not to get in the way of other people's happiness.
That's
like if you don't want to do the thing that is being asked of you, okay, but you shouldn't try to stop others who want to.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like, and that applies to so many different subjects.
It does.
Like gay marriage. It doesn't fucking matter. How does it affect your life or any of that? How does it affect your life if I decide to get a vaccination, or if I decide to put my seatbelt on, or I decide to do any of these things that literally have no impact on anybody else's life but my own? Why are you trying to get in the way of that?
And that's where the intentions are bad. That's where the intentions are bad. When you start that's the I'm superior to you, you know, master race mentality, when you're like, oh, I don't like what they're doing over there because the book that makes me seem like a god is, you know, not in your favor. It's like, no, just leave people alone, man. If they're not hurting you. See, the thing with COVID though is you are hurting other people. It's like if you're out there and you can be infected and you're around other people and you're not trying to do your best to prevent the spread of it, you're participating in the spread of it. You're knowingly being a part of the problem. And that's where it's a little bit different, right? That's what makes us a little different. If it just affected people, fuck it. Like if you want to drink yourself to death, I don't want you to, but that's your decision.
But when you get behind the wheel of a car,
exactly,
your choices start affecting other people.
Exactly.
And that's why we don't let that shit happen.
Exactly. That literally, you couldn't, honestly, words right out of my mouth, dude. That's exactly where I was going with that.
I love this quote. It's really, really old. It applies to a lot of this stuff. The right for you to swing your arm ends where my nose begins. Okay, yeah, you can do anything the fuck you want within a certain reason, of course.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't affect other people. That tends to be the basis of most of all of this shit. Of a lot of stuff is like, go ahead. You can get drunk. Kids can drink in your own home. I want to say that like that's actually like not something you can really get in trouble with until it affects someone else.
That's actually true for like most crimes, if you think about it. It's like until somebody calls the cops because it's negatively affecting other people, nobody really gives a shit, right?
So like, just be nice.
You don't have cops going door to door like, oh man, where's that coke residue? No, it's not until you're like, you know, shirtless in your backyard throwing rocks that your neighbor calls. You know, it's like the police they're not going to care, dude. That's like not even enforceable. So just don't hurt other people. That's it. Just do whatever you want. If you want to choke yourself in your closet and, you know, and you know,
man. I'm not going to stop you.
Do whatever you want, man. Like, I encourage it.
I'm not going to let,
Hey, Guard, thank you for the $2.33 super chat. I love it, man. I miss this so much, Ox. I miss this so much, man. I missed you for 2 weeks. I needed this.
Yeah, man. This is good.
I love it because every once in a while we like hit on these like little things, get a little bit worked up. I like it. I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy for us. Guard, thank you for the $2.33 twice super chat. I hope you meant to do that twice. I hope that wasn't accidentally a double submission.
Doubles.
Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
I
love that. I love it every time I see it in the show.
I know, it's the greatest name ever. Thank you for the $2 super chat. He said, you can strike a balance without having to be a sellout. This is you absolutely can.
To the sponsorships.
And again, just because I'm choosing not to do the paid sponsorships right now doesn't mean that I won't ever do them. Like if it was something that I use and something that I already like and something that I did, and I could position myself to where I was telling the truth, then yeah, it's win-win for everybody if I do that. But the problem is those are pretty hard situations to find because these companies are more interested in paying influencers, not seeking out the influencers that have the great experience with the product, but the people that have the most people to advertise to. So those aren't really like very easy to find. But no, I'm not against the idea of having sponsorship. What I'm against is misleading your audience and abusing your audience into buying goods and services that you yourself don't even use or you yourself doesn't even like just because of the payday. Yeah, it just comes down to manipulation, period. Let's hear Pawn Freefra. Thank you for the subscribe. I'm sure I butchered that. Miss Liz, thank you for the $1.58 super chat. Miss Liz, thank you again for moderating. You are an amazing moderator, an amazing person. You are the best, and we are so happy to have you as a part of this and even the Twitch streams. And I'm sure you mod for like everybody else. I wouldn't be. Did she mod for you on your channel too?
I think she has mod power, but like when I stream, I think doesn't match up right.
She's like community mod extraordinaire.
Before, yeah.
Like she runs the eye makeup game. Although did you see what she had to do while you were gone?
No.
She shaved off her eyebrows. She lost a bet and had to shave off her eyebrows.
No way.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Hey man, you make a bet with her. She goes through with it, man. Stan and Ann Pet, thank you for your subscribe to the channel. James Dye, thank you for your subscribe to the channel. Guard, thank you for the $5.85 super chat again. He said, have you heard of the new Indiana Jones movie? Oh my god, they can't be doing another Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I know one's coming, but I didn't. That's all I know.
I mean, the amount of CGI that they're going to need to do is going to be legislative. Because isn't like Harrison Ford's like what, like 97 years old? Like how old is he?
Not that old, but
dude, he is so old. I saw him the other day. I guess he like landed his airplane like backwards on a runway or something. Like
he's just shy of 80.
Oh man, like yeah, I don't know how you direct that anymore. But you know what? I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is like the shittiest, movie Indiana Jones ever made, and I watched it like 3 times. It's like you put Harrison Ford in it, I'm gonna watch that shit. I don't care if he's like fully CGI and like fucking AI integrated, which is coming at some point, I'm sure. Like every dead celebrity is gonna be deep faked into every movie for the next 200 years. Mark my words. Danilo Mesquita, thank you for your subscribe to the channel. Eric G, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said, I'm poor people this week, but here's a bit of support. You know what? That $2 is more than most people can give, man. So we are super duper grateful for that.
Every little bit helps, man.
Absolutely.
Don't ever feel.
Yeah, I don't want that. I just want to make that clear. I don't want anybody to ever feel like literally just being here and watching the show, you are actually increasing our exposure. You are increasing the stats. The stats are what tell the algorithm, what our self-worth is, apparently. So it's like you control a lot just by simply watching the show. It's like even if you have an ad blocker enabled, it's like, yeah, that does make it harder for us, but it still counts as a view. Exactly. So there's all different levels of support, and it's all fantastic. So don't ever feel like I always get sad when people message me. It's like, oh man, I'm sorry I couldn't give more. Like on Patreon, somebody will message me and be like, I'm sorry, I can't sign up again this month because money's pretty tight. It's like, don't please don't apologize. Like I want to apologize. I want to apologize for you being in that situation where you're having to fight for money stuff. It's like I feel I'm the one that feels bad about that. Like, don't you feel bad? Like we are super grateful. Hey Ed T, thank you for the $6.08 super chat. Wow, all these super chats are like weird cent values. I wonder why. Has it always been like that? No. I wonder if that's because of like maybe like is there a processing fee or something? I don't know. It's weird. It's like every one of them's got like some additional cents. Ed T said, I supported UFD Tech over $125 for his goal. Did you hear about UFD Tech? What's going on with him?
Nope.
So UFD Tech, his name's Brett. He's a guy I've known for some time. As a matter of fact, he was a huge fan of my channel back before he even did YouTube. And we started talking. He used to live in South Africa, and he has a really great channel with technology videos. He has really good production value, a team, does a lot of scripted content and stuff like that. Well, his son has a really rare genetic disease called SYNGAP1. Only 300 people on Earth have this. Whoa. And it's an ailment that like prevents his body from absorbing certain proteins or something like that. And it basically, causes some cognitive issues, some speech issues, and he has seizures even when he eats. Like he has continuous seizures. It's a really terrible disease, but there's no cure for it. And there's no real treatments for it either. So he does a charity event every year where he does something crazy and gets, other SYNGAP people together. And this year he drove all the way from New York nonstop to LA. And he's still streaming right now. Somebody told me he's still streaming. So after this stream, please go over to UFD Tech or UFD Tech and watch him. But he asked me if I do a 15-minute video. So I did a 15-minute video talking about, when Xander was born and the problems we had with the hospital and the medical bills and everything and how we survived doing content creation. And he got a bunch of YouTubers to jump on board and put that in, and he aired it all during the trip. It was really cool. I mean, he went above and beyond on this trip, and he ended up raising for the research. He's raising money for the research for the SYNGAP1. The scientists that are doing the research need the funding. And he raised, I want to say last time I checked, it was like over 120,000 or something like that. Yeah. In like 60 hours, like on a stream that, probably averaged about 400 or 500 viewers. I mean, it was awesome. He's a really good dude. He is a really, really good dude, really good, genuine dude. And so I was happy to take all my proceeds from our Twitch stream last week and put it his way. It was $75, but I took that and I gave that to him for the charity event. And so if you guys have anything that you could give to go over there to help them like cross the line and hit their like total goal, I think their total goal is like 200K or something like that. Please do. I'd personally appreciate it. He said, he's right now on his way back to PA and he's still streaming. Oh, so he's only supposed to stream from New York to LA, but it sounds like he's still streaming now, driving back home from LA. Nice. That's pretty cool. So please go give him a sub. He's a really good dude. He's really deserving. His whole family got up. Get going. Yeah, get out of here, bro. All right. Take it easy. I'll see you next week. No, get out of here, dude. You're married now. You got shit to do. Bye. Peace out. So Brett, he had to upend his entire family. Like he did a whole video on it. You guys go watch it, but he lived in South Africa. That's like where they had his son, and that's where they had their citizenship. And the problem is they didn't have anybody there that could treat this disorder. The only treatment for this disorder was in the United States because it's just such a rare disease. So he had to upend his entire family, move away from his production team, which he's still employing there. He still gets up in the middle of the night and has conversations with these guys on the other side of the world to like keep the cogs turning and keep them employed when he doesn't have to. It's like I think that's pretty damn admirable what he's doing, and the fact that he upended his entire family, moved him here to get his son treatment and everything. It's like I want to do everything I can to help that dude. Karina Freeman, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. He said, Barnacules, I hope your back gets better. It's great to see you again. Well, thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I'm supposed to go in on the 14th to get my my steroid injections in my SI joints. So I think I'm only doing one side this time, though, because I had so much prednisone and steroids from this last infection. My immune system's taken an absolute clobbering. So we're probably only going to pick one side or the other. My left side's giving me the most problems, so we'll probably do some injections there. Hopefully that'll get me back some mobility and stuff like that so that I can start working towards some goals. Devlin42, thank you for the $5.85 super chat. He said, for two other good dudes. We appreciate it so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for everything that you guys did today. I'm sorry that I've been gone for nearly 2 weeks. If you guys want to catch up some of the live streams I did over on Twitch, I've only done 2 live streams over there in the last 2 weeks because of all the stuff that I was doing with my health. But luckily I'm on the mend now. I'm done with the antibiotics. I'm done with the oral steroids. And so my immune system is slowly coming back online, and now the hives are gone. Thank goodness. That was the big scare after the ear infection, but it looks like I'm on the mend now. So hopefully things will get back to regular and I can start streaming and 3 times a week, just like I was before, and start doing regular tech talk again. Man, you guys are awesome. I love your faces. Please head on over to UFD Tech and tell him I said hi after the stream. If nothing else, just pop in there and say hi, give him some good words, because he's driving back after a really long and exhausting trip to raise this money for SYNGAP research, not just for him, but for other people that have kids that are suffering this ailment. And the only way there's going to be a cure or treatment for this is with charity funding, because there's just not enough people that have this disease in the world for them to dedicate mainstream resources to curing it. So it's really on him and those groups of people to raise the funding that's needed to find the cure. But it sounds like they actually do have some promising research. And with the funding, it looks like they're actually pretty close to some treatments that could really change his son's life. So I'm super excited for him, and I really hope that it works out for him, because I know what it's like to watch your kid every day, you know, and you know, even Xander, like, we didn't know if he was going to survive coming out of the hospital. 3.5 months we were in the NICU, and he was on, you know, breathing support, and that was the scariest thing I've ever been through in my life. And right now, with the situation his kid's in with the seizures and stuff, his kid needs round the clock care, 24/7. Like, he'll never be on his own unless, you know, or probably even with a cure. But it would help that family out so much if they could get his quality of life improved. So let's do what we can, man. Let's come together as a community. That's what we do, right? Makes us feel good. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. I will see you guys again on Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific time over on Twitch TV/Barnacules. If you guys want, you can mosey on over there. I have all the VODs from the previous episodes if you want to get caught up. If you're like, wow, I didn't know you streamed on Twitch. I've been over there for like 2 years. I stream 3 times a week usually. And if you guys want to contact me offline from the stream, you want to make a suggestion for a topic for a show, or you just want to shoot the breeze, head on over to Twitter at Barnacules. That's my most active social network. Even though I'm on like every social network, that's the one that I'm on primarily. So if you just tag me over there, at me on there, and chances are I'll see the stuff within a day. All right, I love you guys. You're the best, and I'll